Welcome to Chinese novel audiobook. 81. The encounter in the underground city finally went wrong. Battlefield Saint, amid saying, "Your father," creates mental control. The unexpected thunder demon sword struck first. Another move, the invincible Niu Gen Gen fist. A perfect combo, easily breaking through the range of a LV5 expert. The giant fist of light emitting terrifying fluctuations hit Bert right in the chest. Can't die. Eugene was comforting himself. Beating this guy to death will completely offend the Loki family. Beat him half to death and still have some fun. Yes, he also has corresponding arrangements for those high-ranking people. But as the saying goes, walk the road step by step. Cut people off one by one. Ah! Feeling the heat in front of him, Bert roared unwillingly but helplessly. He, who usually has a bad mouth and is arrogant, never thought that he would be defeated and feel so aggrieved. Yes, defeated. The moment Eugene's punch hit him, even Bert himself recognized his failure. Just because this move is too powerful. Eugene's giant fist pressed down. With the explosion of snow-white light, Bert's entire outline was swallowed up by the light. He was like Frieza, who was suppressed by a vitality bullet, resisting desperately but still only being suppressed. Boom! A huge air wave exploded. The pure white energy stimulated from Eugene's arm turned into a beam of light, carrying the burning Bert and rushing towards the depths of the dungeon. Goodbye. Eugene's eyes full of contempt finally met the werewolf's shocked gaze. The next second, he was completely cut off by the exploding magic light. Large areas of the surrounding earth and rocks collapsed, and the stone walls were as fragile as tofu hit by a giant hammer. Smoke and dust are like waves of the sea, pouring infinitely into the huge hollow that collapsed in front of you. Empty. Like the 830 notes of a war drum, it rumbles along with it. In this small space, such a shocking scene was staged. KG. In that dark corner, the boy was covered in blood and now covered in dirt, his lips were trembling and his teeth were chattering. Horrible, so terrible. That werewolf is so powerful, but in front of this monster, he is just a combined enemy. What to do? You will definitely die this time. The anger and courage that Belle had just risen disappeared completely in this bombardment. You can't expect a newcomer who has just stepped into the dungeon to have any resistance against a domineering monster that can crush a strong level 5 player. Can a child resist a lion? Especially a bloodthirsty lion that had just finished killing. Tread. Eugene turned the bull's head, and there was nothing in the huge bull's eyes. He looked at Belle, who was frightened out of his mind, and strode over. Heavy steps, each step filled with youthful hope. Don't. His eyes were filled with tears, and fear swept through his heart. Do not come. Don't come over. Belle looked broken, and Eugene let out a howl of collapse like Diavolo. And looking at his posture, Eugene actually stood still. His eyes were half-lidded. A playful and contemptuous smile gradually appeared on the face that had regained its composure. Unlike Bert, he showed irresistible power, like a mountain that made Belle breathless. The thought that he absolutely cannot win occupies his mind, so the belief in catching up will no longer arise. The bull demon king cut off the birth of the hero with his own hands. His chest puffed out and his throat vibrated. The next second, the Tauren war cry, which had been superimposed to the 55th level, exploded. A spherical sound wave was spit out from Eugene's mouth, clearing away all the dust scattered around him. Puff! It was as if there was a bomb stuck in his head. Belle's eyes were red, and his ears, nose and mouth were bleeding at the same time. This is real power, this is real fear. The boy's body began to collapse internally. His skin was cracked, his vision was damaged, his brain was bleeding, his P*** was incontinent. A series of serious injuries pushed this innocent boy to death. Sorry. Kami-sama. In the final darkness, Belle recalled the girl with a beautiful smile in her dilapidated home. Today, he can't go home. With endless regret and fear, the gray-haired boy fell asleep. He was never supposed to wake up again. However, when Belle was immersed in the darkness, he vaguely felt a pair of strong arms embracing him. That embrace reminded him of his deceased grandfather, Zeus. A drop of warm liquid keeps the gradually cold body alive. Then, there was a moment of commotion. Finally, there is a tranquility that is soothing. Thank you very much, sir. If it were one step later. Sir. In the hospital of the Dean Kate family, the miraculous doctor among miraculous doctors, Battlefield Saint, Amide looked at the empty seats and fell speechless. That person appeared and disappeared suddenly. It's really strange. Although he is a good person who acts bravely when he sees justice. She turned back and looked at the boy whose injury had stabilized. How do I pay for the medical bills? Pain. Just as the battle on the upper level was taking place, Finn, who was far behind them, felt his thumb tingling continuously. His brows were furrowed, his eyes were solemn, and he immediately led everyone to quicken their pace. Somewhere on the 7th floor, following the huge earthquake, they discovered a huge collapse. From the 5th floor, it collapsed all the way to the 7th floor. This is by no means a normal state of affairs. Hey, look at that foot. Bert's iconic boots were found in a corner of the mound. They dug through the earth and rocks and successfully rescued the unconscious werewolf. There was a huge burn on his chest, and almost all the bones in front of him were broken. What exactly is this, BDCJ? People's reactions varied, but they all revealed strong shock. Among them, Finn blamed himself very much. Is it really the fire breather? He regretted that he stopped and didn't catch up. But just as suspicion was gradually forming, a blonde figure wrapped in a thick coat floated down above the huge hollow. It's Ace. She also encountered a battle, and because many of her hair were singed, she simply cut it short on the spot. As for what the clothes looked like under that coat, everyone was curious. What's wrong, Mr. Burt? Icy didn't understand why the two of them became like this after being separated for only a few minutes. We can only wait until he wakes up. Livilia, who was like a loving mother to the team, nervously pulled Ice over, but did not check the wound. *. The girl handed over a bottle of recovery medicine that had only been used a little. The potion rewarded by the system is very powerful, and it only takes a little water to restore Icy's skin injuries. Ice, who is the guy you are fighting with? The two targeted duels that appeared at the same time made Finn realize that something was wrong. Could it be an interception by the Dark faction? But what surprised him was that Icy, who had never been interested in men, took the initiative to defend her opponent who threatened him. I think, that guy might not be a bad person. She tightened her coat, smelling this smell for the first time. Unlike the careless uncles in the tavern, it doesn't stink at all. It's as refreshing and peaceful as leaning against a big tree. Huh, I can't be sure. Finn thought more comprehensively. He looked at the slim beauty from his family. Maybe that bee is just greedy for your body. Does he have any characteristics? Finn dug into as many details as he could. Icy blinked her big eyes, and that frivolous figure appeared again. He said he was a fire breather. Fire breather. Finn was very puzzled. You faced the fire breather, so who did Bert face? He was really a fire breather, and he breathed a big mouthful of fire at me. Ice held Livilia's sleeve like a child, insisting on proving it to them. Several people had no choice but to leave the team temporarily and go to the place where Ice fought. After arriving, several LV6 veterans had to marvel at the hellish scene. What is a mouthful of fire? The long and narrow corridor in front of me is still burning with flames, and every corner of it has been destroyed by the flames and turned into coke. This trace stretches for hundreds of meters and looks like the remains of a fire dragon spinning across the border. Ice, are you really okay? Even Livilia was in disbelief. As the strongest mage in Orario, she is very aware of how dangerous the terrain in front of her is. From what she saw, Icy had no choice but to rush forward. Face this fierce flame and carve a way out. Everyone looked at Ice. In their impression, the girl seemed to have never done such a dangerous thing. Well, I'm really fine. Icy muttered, indicating that these adults underestimated her. Alas, accidents come one after another. Finn covered his forehead. There were too many facts that the leader needed to consider, and he felt like he couldn't turn his head right now. Fire breathers, mysterious enemies, new types of monsters, contaminated magic stones. There are piles of things to do, and the truth to be investigated is one after another. What he didn't know was that the Loki family would only have more and more troubles in the future. In the villa, Eugene put on casual clothes and enjoyed the massage from several beauties, feeling very uncomfortable. He walked leisurely as if he had gone out for a stroll. But it only took a short time to have a huge impact on this city. Eugene stretched out his hand and looked into the daylight. From his perspective, every finger of his was covered with invisible threads. Those encounters that shouldn't belong to him have now become destiny and cannot be separated. Hee. The encounter in the dungeon was finally a mistake. 82 What's the matter with you? Little old girl. Loki in earthquake. After returning from the expedition, the headquarters of Loki Familia is in the grand mansion called Twilight Pavilion. In the conference hall, all the core figures of Loki's family were waiting here, and the atmosphere was solemn. The three elders, Brave, Finn, Changji, Grace, and 9 demons, Livilia. The new generation, Sword Princess, Ice, Angry Snake, Tion Sillet, Great Cut, Tiona, Agent. As well as some backbone cadres of IV4, all gathered. Except for one person, Wolf, Bert Rocca. Fire breather. We have no clue at all. In the main seat of the hall, which usually belonged to Finn, a woman with red hair and narrow eyes, who could not tell the difference between her breasts and her back, was sighing. She is Loki, the god of mischief, in the world of Earth. When he heard that his beloved little Ace had been attacked, Loki, who had the appearance of a girl but the soul of a crazy uncle, wanted to dig out that person and crush his bones into ashes. What? You ask Bert. Ah, well, victory and defeat are commonplace in military affairs, and countless adventurers have died in dungeons. Just kidding. Anyway, Bert still has some breath. If he doesn't die, he wins. In short, we did not complete this expedition smoothly. The originally planned level below the 50th floor was not reached due to the new type of monsters. On the way back, 2 more people were attacked. These things put together, it is difficult to think that it is just a coincidence. Finn analyzes things to see how they are related. He believes that this is likely to be related to the Dark faction. In the Dark period, the Loki Familia, as the backbone force against the Dark factions, achieved numerous results and also attracted a lot of hatred. But these years, the Dark sect has been dormant in the shadows, without any movement. But the Loki Familia, especially Finn, never relaxed their vigilance against them. That group of people, did they have the strength to reach the 50th floor? Changji Grace expressed his question. There are tamers among the Dark factions, but at most they can only control the middle-level monsters. On the 50th floor, even the Loki Familia arrived for the first time. How could their defeated generals go to such a place? And also cultivate a large number of giant poisonous insect monsters? They alone cannot do it. Livilia opened her lips slightly, but these people are very good at finding allies and absorbing external forces. During the Dark period, the most brutal battle took place 7 years ago. At that time, headed by the God of Darkness, Erebus, they recruited 2 LV7 peerless experts as helpers. Gluttony, Chardo of Zeus's family, and Silent, Alfea of Hera's family. After the once prosperous Zeus and Hera family declined, these 2 people were inspired by Erebus and joined the Dark faction and became his right-hand man. Being able to bring former heroes under his command shows the power of the Dark sect's seductive powers. In that battle, if it weren't for the special circumstances, the Orario car would have been destroyed. That's it. I think the fire-breathing guest and the mysterious enemy are all helpers brought by the Dark faction from the outside. Livilia glanced at Ice, who was lost in thought, and frowned slightly, showing her mother's concern. That fire-breathing man seems to be interested in Ice. You need to be more careful. What? Loki became excited when he heard this, and his whole body jumped up immediately. Ice-Tan was harassed by that D****************. Unforgivable. Aston, did that guy do anything excessive to you? Mentioning this, Icy suddenly came back from her memories, her eyes were innocent, and her slender fingers were rubbing. We just had one fight. He breathed fire at me. Yeah, it's just a fire. Livilia touched Ace's hair with some distress while recalling the scene she saw. He trapped Icy in a tunnel, leaving her with no room to dodge, and then breathed out a powerful flame breath at her. Based on the remaining magic power at the scene, I'm afraid even if IV4 gets hit, there will be no bones left on the spot. Exclamation mark! Everyone was shocked when they heard this. A person with such powerful firepower is unheard of among the strong men in Orario. It is certain that this fire-breathing guest must come from the outside world. His origin and purpose are very suspicious. Loki was very emotional. Ice, whom he regarded as his darling, was almost burned to death. How could he bear this? That flowing blonde hair, snow-white skin, cute face, graceful figure, round cough. No matter where it is damaged, it is a great loss to the Loki family. Catch him out for me. He will be punished severely. It's impossible. Finn and the others should ignore their own inconspicuous main god. So, are we going to issue a reward to the Union? This topic instantly attracted Icy's attention, and her usually calm expression was now a little shaken. Is that person really a bad person? She looked at the palm of her hand and felt like she was holding something new. That was something you couldn't get in a warm family, and that person gave it to her the first time they met. Fortunately, I didn't tell everyone that I had already seen his face. In this hostile atmosphere, I secretly felt happy. I still want to meet him and fight with him. That way, you can catch more. After this discussion went on for a long time, the final decision was to treat it coldly. The matter has been put aside for the time being, and members of the family members will conduct the investigation in the dark. After all, the opponent's true identity is unknown and he is powerful, so mobilizing extra personnel will probably not help. We can only temporarily let the cadres shoulder the responsibility of secret investigation. In response to the fire-breathing guest's ability, the fire essence cloth provided by the guild has superior flame resistance, which can effectively reduce the opponent's deterrence. Besides, Bert hasn't woken up yet. The information he has there is also very important. Then, that's it for now. Die. As soon as Finn finished speaking, a long breath sounded in the field, and everyone was stunned by the relieved tone. It's Ace. Question mark question mark question mark. What's the matter with you, little sister? After everyone looked at her in astonishment, the doll-like blonde girl's pretty face turned a little hot. She stood up stiffly, forgetting to say anything, and trotted away from the hall. The rest of the people looked at each other without any clue. What the hell is this girl doing? As for Mama San, Livilia and Loki, the crazy god, showed even more shocked expressions. That reaction was more than just embarrassing, right? Could it be that? The windows of the mansion reflected the afterglow of the setting sun, and Icy walked through the light and darkness step by step. She kept running, but couldn't get rid of the heat in her heart. It's wired. I have never felt this way before, nor have I ever had such obsession. The girl couldn't help but recall that old and crooked man with a smile. Well, her heart skipped a beat. Not as an invincible warrior, but as a daughter's heart that has been dusted for 16 years. The same night, Loki's room. The main figure of the tablet, who the man in the painting insists is a woman, is raising his hands and looking in front of him with a squinting look. There, Icy lifted up her blonde hair, revealing her smooth and porcelain back. Although the scenery was very charming, Loki still refrained from touching it. First, Icy's iron fist shows no mercy to anyone, even the Lord God. The second is, she could hardly remember the last time this girl asked so solemnly and eagerly to update her abilities. Please give me flowers, 0. I was promoted to IV5 in 3 years and stuck at IV5 for 3 consecutive years. From the initial anticipation to the later loneliness. She saw Icy's reaction, but after returning from the expedition this time, the girl seemed to have gained some new revelation, and the energy that had been dormant for a long time emerged again. Tick, tock, a drop of blood exuding divine light slid down the beautiful back, and immediately summoned a dense text. Below the grimacing clown that symbolizes the clan's crest, there is information such as personal abilities, skills, and magic. She should feel that she has made progress. With this thought in mind, Loki summoned Ice abilities. A light curtain composed of a large piece of sacred text is suspended in the air. Level IV5, Strength D549, Durability D540, Dexterity A823, Agility A821, Magic Power A899. She remembered that this was Ice ability value before the expedition. It has a AAA panel, and one of the rarest magic powers is already excellent. According to previous experience, Icy's ability value will not fluctuate by more than 10 points once updated. Most of the time it's even just 1 point. How many can there be this time? With curiosity, Loki opened the data lock on himself. Personal information is very important. She opened her pair of Fox cigarettes expectantly. The next second, the god's sight froze. This. He was stuck again and again after opening his mouth. Even a well-informed and immortal god was shocked this time. What the hell is going on? The scream of the Lord God pierced the quiet night, and also alarmed the 3 elders who were still gathering for a drink on the roof. They quickly moved out, and within a few breaths, they had arrived at Loki's room. What's wrong, Loki? Ah, wait. You can't come in. Loki, who had been stunned just now, came to her senses. She quickly took out a piece of paper and stuck it on Ice's back to record the updated ability value. After Icy put on her clothes full of doubts, the 3 elders stepped through the door. Is it about Ace? Loki sat cross-legged on the bed and nodded seriously. Livilia glanced at the piece of paper and guessed, could it be that I's abilities have improved a lot this time? If so, she was sincerely happy. People tend to pay too much attention to strength and lack of care for this girl who lost her parents at a young age and is determined to become stronger. Although she appears calm, she also has her own emotions. In the past 3 years, Icy, who has been unable to break through the boundaries no matter how hard she tried and fought, is finally making progress, which should be something worth celebrating. The situation is like this. Loki confirmed the fact, but still looked embarrassed. She scratched her head and handed the piece of paper to Ice. The latter took it expectantly. Immediately, the eyebrows suddenly tightened. This is. The girl murmured and couldn't believe her eyes. Her fingers were obviously hard and she crumpled the paper. I saw that the lines of text had completely changed. The former DDAAA disappeared. Instead, it's CCAAS. Question mark. Strength. D549, C614. Durability D540, C600. Question mark. Smart. A823, A898. Question mark. Agile. A821, A896. Question mark. Magic. A899, S950. The 5-dimensional total before update is 3632. The updated 5-dimensional total is 3958. A total increase of 326 points. The average improvement is more than 60 points. This is more than progress. It's simply a qualitative leap. And 83 no. You are my brother-in-law. Super evolution. From bit by bit to complete stagnation. Not only Ice herself, almost everyone thought that the girl had reached her limit. There was no way she could get promoted again. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, even a talented girl like Icy. In their plan, if Icy can raise her magic level to S, she can start to achieve greatness and reach 16. However, at this juncture, it was beyond everyone's expectation. This stubborn girl just squeezed out all her talents and took another step forward on the road that was already at the end. No, that's not a simple step, it's a leap. The average improvement is 60 points, directly spanning most of the classes. Not only did his strength and durability rise to C level, but his magic power also broke through to the middle of S level. Even the agility and dexterity that have not been upgraded are already approaching the S level mark. It was extremely rare to make so much progress at once, even in Icy's previous, May 10th, experience. And like this, to suddenly surpass oneself under the long-term shackles, not to mention her, not even the 3 elders, and even the Lord God Loki have never heard of it. Talent is ultimately limited, this is an iron rule. Icy's previous upgrades were all based on single 5 liters. This time, after a long period of accumulation, we will finally achieve the unprecedented 3S. After receiving the Master's approval, the 3 elders circulated Icy's abilities. As expected, the shock they expressed was far greater than the joy and blessing. This is so abnormal. During the expedition, Ice served as the vanguard and fought fierce battles. But for her, there was no essential difference from what she had experienced in the past. Even because of group combat, the intensity is slightly less than that of individual training. The few times I was injured were minor injuries caused by rushing too far forward when fighting the boss. Until she was stationed on the 50th floor for repairs, Icy was still in full condition. How could such a battle make her improve so much? And you'll know it after just a little thought. During the expedition, it was the only battle that escaped everyone's sight. The reason must come from there. Who is that guy? Gareth's beard was trembling. Finn's thumb felt a dull pain, and Lea's eyebrows furrowed. As for Icy, a strong desire rose in her eyes. It must be him. That man. The reason why he did that was because he knew that I could gain further strength from that trial. It must be. He only increased the power of the flames on the way. When he successfully broke through to the front, the relieved smile on his face and the care at the end all proved his deep meaning. Crunch. The girl's fists were clenched. I must go to see him, I must go to see him. Because only he can give me the power I dream of. That's something you can't get from the care of countless people in your team, your family, and your family. You can only get it by fighting that man with all your strength. Finn, I'm requesting to join the investigation team into the fire breather. Her tone is solemn and her expression is resolute, which is touching. Please. Several senior officials, including the Lord God, exchanged glances with each other and nodded in agreement. Promise me, Ace. Livilia stretched out her hand and stroked the girl's cheek. Don't force yourself, okay? Her hands were delicate and warm, and following this atmosphere, Ice could only nod. But she already had a clear idea in her heart. If you are not in hell, it is absolutely impossible to obtain transcendent power from it. The other side. Fengyu Street, Jadong Hall. Hey, do you really know what you are doing? Aisha's eyes were filled with frost, and she stared coldly at the crooked Eugene in front of her. Of course, Eugene showed a smile that he thought was sincere, but was actually invincible. This is Fengyu Street, the realm of the goddess of desire. A single man like me gets together with a beautiful woman like Miss Aisha. Of course we can talk about romance. He banged Aisha boldly, and the strong bronze muscles were visible in his open clothes. The aura full of invasion made Aisha, a veteran of men, feel excited. For Amazon, this guy is irresistible in every way. Aisha looked back at the lights of Jadong Pavilion. Haruji is still waiting there for her lover. And he was going to pry the man who regarded Haruhime as his sister at such a close place. Gulu. She swallowed hard and turned away. Get out of my way. Lena, isn't that enough for you to splurge on? You can ask her. Eugene smiled mischievously. When will she get into bed? Just as the atmosphere between the two became more and more charming, a soft voice appeared in his ears. Sister Aisha. Master. Why don't you go in? It's Haruhime. She was holding a string of paper lanterns and standing on the edge. Her emerald green eyes would often send out beautiful waves when she saw the people close to her and the ones she loved. But when someone close to you appears with your loved one, it's a bit strange. Ah, Haruhime. It's not what you think. Aisha explained hurriedly. Miss Aisha and I have something to discuss. Eugene's expression remained unchanged, and he put his arms around the hot girl next to him. It's a very important thing. What are you doing? B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** been electrocuted all over. This scumbag, how dare he touch her in front of Haruhime? Haruji blinked her eyes, as if she didn't understand. In this regard, she is a female driver who has held a license for many years but has never driven a car once. Let's go inside and talk. She naively didn't think much about it. But Aisha was already blushing. She looked at the warm lights, which should have been the harbor belonging to Haruji and Eugene. But now she actually wants to get involved. No, no. Amazon suppresses that fire. If you go there, you absolutely can't. She gave Eugene a sharp look and signaled the guy not to get into trouble again. However, how could this possibly make this super seductress shaken? The tough, dark-skinned beauty of the carnivorous family is now showing a struggling and ashamed look. Such a rare scenery, how could you miss it? Don't. She realized that she couldn't defeat Eugene at all. Regardless of psychology or strength, the once powerful and beautiful Black Panther is now just a cat. She means, let's stop dilly-dallying. Eugene 1.3 holds Aisha in one hand, and reaches out to hold Chunji's little hand with the other. The whole little girl is sweet and shy. They walked step by step into the bright light. Until he passed through all kinds of mind-blowing sounds and smells and arrived at Haruhime's room. I'll get you some tea. Haruji stepped forward excitedly, but Eugene grabbed her waist. Well, she felt a burning sensation on her lips, and her eyes immediately became blurred. Asterisk. With a weak cry, Haruji's body fell backwards and was gently placed by Eugene. The props of the system are awesome. Eugene wiped his mouth and looked back at Aisha. The person in front of me has a slender figure and swaying gauze. Beads of sweat trickled down the streamlines on his waist and abdomen. It is more than words. Hoo-ho. Please prepare your mind for me. 84 From now on for countless good nights, you belong to me. Aisha Bellica. It is said that it is in the Jadong Pavilion. Haruhime on the ground was sleeping soundly. And beside her. Just be prepared to wake up. Aisha stepped forward. Alas, where is my 10,000-word seal? Why is it missing? Forget it, too many words are too expensive, so I won't waste everyone's money. So let's give you a summary, so everyone can read and understand it, right? Gold and purple intertwined. The rays of light complement each other. They whispered, confided, and melted together. The purple light is so dazzling. It is covered with gold, intending to leave its own traces on this fertile soil that does not belong to itself. Because it knows that a good night may be the only one. However, the golden light never dims. No matter the storm, its presence remains unshakable. Even if that piece of purple light exerted all its strength, it only made him dodge a few times. Gradually, purple lost its way. It thinks that it will never be lost, but it has been trapped in this golden land. Until the end, I fell completely into the depth. The golden color, which symbolizes fertile soil, finally revealed its true colors at this time. It is the embodiment of Taurus. The starlight that will never go out is stained with purple. They are intertwined. Until that good night passed. The next day, the sun rose 3 poles. Sister Aisha. Sister Aisha. Aisha woke up from a blanket of warmth. She opened her hazy eyes, and what came into view was Haruhim's concerned face. 13 inches. Ah, it's you. The extremely tired Amazon tried to sit up, but his exhausted body couldn't move at all. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. This feeling that she had never experienced before made Aisha wake up instantly. That man. She noticed something strange about herself. I also remember the chaos. Master Eugene said that you are not feeling well. I will save the child and take care of you. Haruhime didn't notice anything unusual. When she woke up, she was lying in Eugene's arms. Aisha, on the other hand, was sleeping soundly in the next room. For some reason, all the windows in that room were wide open and incense was lit. The floor is damp. After Eugene left a mysterious evil smile, he left in a swaggering manner. A*hole. A*hole. Aisha huddled up and trembled. No wonder Lena can't live without him. Where there is a fierce battle, it is clearly being crushed. By the way, Sister Aisha. Master Eugene has specially prepared a gift for you. Haruhime turned around and took out a box from the cabinet. Seeing that Aisha had difficulty moving her body, she helped open it. This. Lying in the box is a magic book. What is this? Showing off your wealth. She stretched out her hand tremblingly, touching the cover, and found a card sandwiched in the book. She wanted to take it out, but the card was sealed tightly. So I had to open the page and take it out carefully. Aisha looked carefully, her pupils narrowed, and she didn't know what expression to make for a moment. It says, "Congratulations. This book has been opened and cannot be returned or exchanged. It's like our destiny has been linked. Either to make up for its value. Or should I respond to this feeling? Please invite the beautiful, elegant, strong, and independent Miss Aisha Bellica. Give countless good nights in the future to the man who is willing to spend them with you." PFF'd. After a long time, Aisha laughed. This guy has so much work to do. I have to admit that he is particularly good at seducing women. That's what you said. She held up the magic book and faced the bright light, with a soft smile on her lips. From now on, there will be many good nights. On the other side, in the hospital of the Dean Kate family. Belle-kun. Belle-kun. Wearing twin ponytails, a white dress, and a blue lace around her proud chest, the petite goddess Hestia was throwing herself in front of the bed, crying loudly. "Lord Kami. I'm much better." Belle wakes up still weak. His lips were pale, and his still childish face twitched from time to time. In front of the crying goddess, he tried his best to hold back the pain in his heart. Failed. My adventure in the dungeon was a complete failure. Facing the Minotaur, he fled. Facing Bert's ridicule, he was powerless. Facing that powerful monster, he didn't even have the courage to move. The other party just roared and put him on the verge of death. If someone hadn't rescued him, he would have died alone in the dark. Lord God. The young man's voice was choked with sobs, and on his bloodless face, large tears flowed down in a string. I'm really scared. Really, I don't want to die. The dungeon is not good at all. Adventurers, monsters are scary. After all, this is just a 14-year-old boy. Before coming to Orario, he had been living in the countryside, leading a peaceful and indifferent pastoral life. The biggest shock he has ever experienced was the unexpected death of his grandfather, Zeus himself. He longed for the legendary hero and came to the labyrinth city with enthusiasm. But he was not mentally prepared to face the real horror. He was intimidated. Although I am ashamed to admit it, it is true. The malice coming from the dungeon severely ravaged the young man's mind. A huge shadow shrouded his heart, making it impossible for him to have any thoughts of setting foot there. Hestia looked at her only family member with distress. She once saw burning emotions and a bright future in this young man. But now, that enthusiasm is no longer there, and the light has dimmed with this accident. She stroked Belle's forehead, wiped away his tears, and said in a gentle voice, It doesn't matter, there is not only one way to survive in the world. Even heroes don't have just one type, right? The Hephaestus Familia has provided reliable equipment for countless people. The Gubanu family built a large and stable building for Orario. The delicacies produced by the agricultural products of the Demeter family are truly satisfying. The big fish caught by the Najord Familia are always robbed. As the saying goes, if you practice 360, you will be the #1 scholar. We can rest in peace and recuperate. The days ahead will be long. The smile of the girl god illuminated Belle's wounded heart. He swallowed the bitterness and nodded. If there hadn't been that 1 million medical bill, he would have felt much better. At this moment, a hoarse roar came from the next room. That B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** pieces. The familiar voice made Belle's eyes freeze. Is it the werewolf? He is also in the hospital. By the way, he was defeated by that powerful monster after just one encounter. If he hadn't heard this breathtaking voice, Belle almost believed that he would not survive. Be quiet. Your bones have just been connected. If you move them erratically, they will crack. Armed looked angrily at Bert, who was tied up and incompetent on the bed. A LV5 was brought here injured like this. She was very surprised at first. But after 2 days of getting along, she felt that it was normal for Bert to be exploited by him with his bad mouth and arrogance. If possible, I really hope that strong man can punch this guy again and shut his mouth. With a long sigh, Ahmed ordered the busy nurses to strengthen supervision. Lest Bert hurt himself. Did that boy cause you trouble? 267 inches. At this time, Finn's figure appeared behind him. With the appearance of this top warrior figure, both men and women looked straight at him. Again, no one can resist the charm of a handsome man on the outside but a mature man on the inside. Mr. Finn. Seeing this brave man, Agwong couldn't help but show concern. Perhaps because of Mr. Bert's character, he was very dissatisfied with the cause of his injury. No, not long after I woke up, I started shouting that I wanted to be discharged from the hospital. Oh, that idiot. Finn heard Bert's roar through the door, his face full of apology. I made you worry. I will allocate more funds to support Dean Kate's activities as compensation. The two exchanged pleasantries for a few words before they were interrupted. Finn, it's you. I smell it. Bert's manic voice came, and Finn had no choice but to show up. Please restrain yourself, this is not our territory. If it causes trouble to other patients, it will affect the image of the family. What the hell do I care about those trash fishes? Arrange for me to be discharged from the hospital immediately. I'm going to the dungeon. Facing the nearly berserk werewolf, Finn frowned and spoke sternly. Go to the dungeon and then be beaten like this? Or do you mean, being buried in the soil and suffocated to death? Loser, stop barking here. Now you are just a B*********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** ! As if Bert was struck by lightning, Finn's aura diffused around him helped him regain his composure. Yes, I was seriously injured and now my strength is very weak. I am afraid that I may not even be able to defeat IV3. What is it if it's not trash fish? He clenched his fists, his teeth chattered, and finally lay back on the bed slumped. It's normal to lose. Summarize the problem and then make plans. Finn walked to the bed. Okay, tell me now. What exactly happened in that battle of yours? 85 Unknown enemy, Doomsday Conspiracy plot explanation. Under Finn's forced calmness, Bert admitted the fact of his defeat. If the family members hadn't arrived in time, even IV5 would have been suffocated to death in the earth and rocks. He almost died. Moreover, the opponent only used 2 moves. Okay, tell me what you have been through. Finn's expression was serious. If we say that those who attacked Ace and Bert respectively were from the same camp, then they must have something in common. The truth is hidden in the details. Brew, T. Bert startled Finn when he spoke. He is a Tauren. It's a Tauren who can talk, deceive, use equipment, and is extremely powerful. Bert recalled what he had experienced bit by bit, speaking as calmly as possible. But the more detailed he spoke, the more unwilling he felt. The majestic IV 5 inches ferocious wolf, Bert was defeated in just 2 moves. Still a complete defeat. How could such a thing happen? After listening to the narrative, Finn felt very unreal. First of all, a minotaur that appeared on the 5th floor actually has that kind of strength. Furthermore, a talking monster. He has lived for more than 40 years and has never seen one. Even the magic stone that has swallowed many monsters has been greatly improved in all aspects, and has an enhanced type with high intelligence. I have never reported that I can talk to adventurers. As for the equipment and the highest level magic sword that can control IV5, it is even more outrageous. Those are just small things. Bert stroked the huge scar on his chest with fear. His magic is so strong that it's a foul. Not only does it not require chanting, it also has terrifying power. Although I was controlled by the magic sword and couldn't move, in the final analysis, that guy only used one blow to make me look like this. One blow. Beat the top IV5 Bert to the brink of death. Such a terrifying opponent reminded Finn of the decisive battle with the Dark Faction 7 years ago. Gluttony, Chaldo and, Silent, Alfie. These two people are the backbone even in the Zeus and Hera Familia where there are swarms of monsters. And Alfie is even known as, the embodiment of talent. He has reached IV7 at only 24 years old, and the magic he possesses is extremely powerful. Her full blow is said to be able to blow up the entire 18th floor of the dungeon. If not for each of them being terminally ill, Orario would never have been able to defeat them. And today, the fire-breathing guest and the talking monster appeared in sight again. Its strength can suppress Ace and Bert. This made Finn couldn't help but pit the two against each other. Biting his thumb, Finn felt anxious in his heart. Basically all of his crisis premonitions worked. So what will happen this time? Perspective shift. Eugene wandered leisurely on the street. In his plan, the Loki Familia may have become a mess. Two high-level IV5s were attacked, and the identity of the enemy was unknown. No matter how you thought, it was all the fault of the Dark Faction. Thank you for your hard work, Scapegoat. The current Dark Sect is hiding in King Gnosis, a man-made maze. Because one of the descendants of Daedalus, Dix's brother, Varga Perdiccas, was one of theirs. This guy is different from Dix. He crazily worships the creations of his ancestors and is still building man-made mazes to this day. Although he is only IV4, his strength is not as good as Dix. But because of his mysterious development ability, Varga is able to create many cursed equipment, such as bleeding, etc. Although his sense of existence is not high, he is still very important to the Dark Faction. Only people from the Daedalus family can open the door to the labyrinth. And one of the keys has fallen into Eugene's hands. Don't look at Orario's current calm situation. In fact, a huge conspiracy is steadily underway. 15 years ago, the two most powerful families in this city were not Loki and Freya, but Zeus and Hera. Both of these two major families have multiple IV7s, and even more than one IV8. The Hera Familia even had an IV9. He was considered invincible at the time. Even the strongest man in the city today, the fierce Atta of the Freya Familia, was not enough to look at back then. But even though the two powerful families were still completely wiped out. In ancient times, there were three most powerful monsters in the dungeon that forcibly broke through the realm and came to the outside world. They are Behemoth, the king of land, Leviathan, the lord of the sea, and the one-eyed black dragon, the lord of the sky. The three-headed monster has brought chaos to the world for thousands of years. It was not until Zeus and Hera's family launched a full-scale crusade that Behemoth and Leviathan were eliminated. Among them, Gluttony, Chardo and, Silent, Alfie took the greatest credit. But just when everyone was working together to challenge the final boss, the one-eyed black dragon, they were all wiped out. A living disaster, a living nightmare, a living legend, completely black, with wings like the Dark Knight. The final dragon swallowed up all 10 things in a crushing manner. Thousands of years ago, it swallowed up the most powerful hero in history, the mercenary king, Albert Wallenstein. Thousands of years later, it single-handedly wiped out the two most powerful families, plunging Orario into despair. Fortunately, the Black Dragon left after destroying his challenger. It kept flying north, landed in the Dragon Valley in the far north, and fell into a deep sleep. And it is said that when it opens its eyes again and spreads its giant wings, that will be the day the world is destroyed. On the day I return to the world, all the rebels will die. This is a crisis hanging over the entire world. After that, there was the rise of dark factions that advocated destruction and chaos. In the process of fighting against it, the Loki Familia and the Freya Familia grew up and once again became the backbone of Orario. The Dark Sect also collapsed due to the return of its leader, God of Darkness, Erebus, to heaven and hid underground. From then on, they began to take revenge on Orario. Now, leading them is Thanatos, the god of death. Varga, emperor killer, Valletta, and many remnants are all under his name. They hide in the labyrinth of Gnosis, like poisonous snakes waiting for an opportunity, preparing their own conspiracy. For them today, if they want to counterattack on the ground, the first thing they need is military experience. Dungeons that can continuously produce monsters are a good choice. In the original work, the beast tamers of the Dark faction tamed many powerful monsters, almost eating the original protagonist Bell alive. However, the strength of monsters in the 30s and above is limited after all. It's okay to make a small fuss, but it can't really shake Orario's foundation. So, by various chances and coincidences, a huge boost appeared in front of me. Its name is Fallen Fairy. The former, God's darling, and God's clone, possesses naturally powerful magic and a bloodline close to divinity. She fell into the deepest part of the dungeon, was swallowed by the pollution of despair, and finally turned into a monster in the true sense, seeking revenge on everything in the world. And this desire for revenge was also exploited. Just relying on brainwashed soldiers and the blood of dozens or hundreds of people cannot make the world despair. Only the mighty power of the ancient immortal spirits that destroyed the heaven and the earth can be called true chaos. Besides the Death Sect, there is another person who is obsessed with evil and has been planning for 15 years. His identity is unknown and his whereabouts are uncertain. However, his plan has been proceeding steadily. In order to plunge the world into despair, in order to watch the carnival of the world's collapse. The urban destroyer, Ennio, will bring Orario to ruin. Just use the power of Fallen Fairy. In ancient times, 6 great fairies, in order to destroy the strongest monsters on Earth at that time, used a magic trick that could annihilate the Earth. Its name is 6 Circles of Fairy Spirits. And Ennio wants to use the power of the Fallen Fairy to copy this infinitely powerful ancient magic. To do this, he needs a clone from the 6 paths with the power of immortal spirits. Here comes the key point. As we all know, the villains in movies and anime often plan for years, only to fall short in the end. The reason for promising money is because, in your own plan, there is always a certain small key point that can easily be controlled by others. For example, what kind of USB flash drive, what kind of buttons, what kind of program. In short, if you get it, you can reverse everything. In Ennio's plan, this key point is called the orb fetus. Only after being parasitized by this thing can it serve as a substitute for the fairy spirit. After the first expedition of the Loki Familia, it was probably about a week. Eugene rubbed his chin, recalling the details. At that time, in Rivera Town, a person will bring a gem fetus from the 30th floor. That thing is Eugene's next target. Fairy blood. The bloodline haze that can greatly increase the power of magic. Krazo has a trace of blood, and the magic sword he makes is extremely powerful. Barga has a trace of blood, and the curse he creates has extraordinary effects. And Ace Wallenstein, her mother, is a fairy. Because of this, the wind magic she possesses is even more exaggerated. So, if Eugene obtains the blood of fairy spirits, how powerful will his explosive magic be? Can't wait. Ambition grows endlessly, and Eugene's face looks like a greedy beast. Evil God. Merely. The devil is the real absolute evil. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. 86 is no longer possible, Niu is too busy. The bad-mouthed werewolf with no points, Bert Rocca. 3 days flew by in the blink of an eye. Attentive people will notice that in the past 2 days, members of the Loki Familia always wore a thick coat when they went out. Sewn inside is the fire essence protective cloth. For 3 days, Icy and others continued to search in the dungeon, but did not get any clues about the fire-breathing man and the talking minotaur. At this moment, Bert was discharged from the hospital. There is healing magic in the other world, and the battlefield Saint Amid is even more proficient in this. At the strong request of the werewolf, and in order to find peace as soon as possible, Ahmed used complete healing magic on Bert many times. Although injuries within the body can be repaired, regrowing bones also requires a long period of rest. Of course, for Bert, this series of instructions went in one ear and out the other. In order to show that he had fully recovered, he returned to the family and clamored to go down to the dungeon to participate in the investigation together. As a result, Chongjigarith, who was left behind at the headquarters, was subdued with one hand. There are no clues. Finn and others returned to the headquarters and came to the expected result. Looking for two mysterious people in a huge dungeon is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Let's repair it for 2 days. Livilia suggested, those 750 and the two have just done something eye-catching, so they probably won't be out again all at once. We'll make plans after the monster festival is over. Looking at the extremely disappointed Icy, the gentle and intellectual Mama San also said that she didn't know what to say. This child has been occupied with the idea of becoming stronger. Losing the whereabouts of the fire-breathing guest meant that she also lost the way forward. Livilia had no choice but to entrust the other young girls to go shopping with Ace to relax. I hope that together they can make the stubborn girl happy. The other side. Eugene's villa. Aisha opened her eyes, and what she saw was Lena. The two women looked at each other and couldn't help but look shy at the same time. This kind of thing is so ridiculous. Amazons are a free and unrestrained race. Once they fall in love with a man, they will burst out with a strong desire for exclusivity. Aisha couldn't deny that she had a crush on Eugene. No matter what it is, staying with him is a pleasure. But last night, Hey, I don't mind, if it's Aisha. Lena moved closer under the quilt, their smooth bodies touching each other. Aisha sighed, this girl has been following her since she entered the clan. Nowadays, do even men have to choose one? The two ladies are awake. Eugene, wearing loose pajamas, appeared at the door, with a pretty maid behind him pushing a dining cart. He walked to the bed, brushed Aisha's messy hair, and then lowered his head. Well, the latter stretched his neck, revealing his graceful curves. After a long time, the lips parted. You guy. Aisha stared at Eugene's face, with a helpless and satisfied smile on her lips. Master is unfair. Others want it too. Lena shouted and rushed forward, and the three of them fell together again. After noisy for a while, they ate breakfast in bed, which was close to noon. In the past 2 days, Chloe and Noroa have been staying with Lily, while Liu returned to the rich mistress. There are fewer girls around Eugene, but there are more in-depth interactions. During the day, I happily discussed life with Lena and Aisha, and in the evening I went to Haruhim's place to have some warmth. Good guy, these little days are nourishing. The endless looting magic makes Eugene's experience endless. He felt that he was going to drown in this happy life. By the way, when are you going to rescue Haruji? Aisha could not forget the little girl behind bars. Especially after being pushed down by Eugene, he was full of apologies. It's almost done, don't worry. I hope Haruhime will be free sooner than you do. Haruhime's power is too important. He also wanted to face Ishtar head-on as soon as possible. However, it's not okay to have too many things on your hands. Ganesha and the others haven't given up on the investigation yet, and he has provoked the Loki Familia again. If the Ishtar Familia is involved again, they will be in a lot of trouble. Don't rush, there is still time, solve them one by one. Waiting until Haruji is rescued, it won't be every day. Eugene fantasized about the happy life in the future and smiled crazily. Aisha looked at this guy with a look of disgust on his face. By the way, the Monster Festival is coming soon. Would you like to watch it together? Facing Eugene's invitation, Lena immediately nodded excitedly. The Monster Festival is a large-scale festival led by the guild and performed by the Ganesha family. In Orario's largest arena, beast tamers will release monsters captured alive from the dungeons and perform taming exercises in public. This sport is much more exciting than bullfighting in the previous life, and it can also reduce the citizens' fear of underground cities to a certain extent. After all, Orario is, in a sense, a city built on a crater. But, don't take everything at face value. The Monster Festival led by the guild is not just for collecting tickets. Previously, we have pointed out the species, heretics, many times. They have high intelligence, can learn and communicate, and want to join a group to stay warm. As for their existence, no one except the Icarus Familia knew about them. Because the only ones who know this are all gods. The great god Oranos discovered the first heretic in the underground city, the lizard man, Reed, about 15 years ago. Since then, he has sent his deputy, Fells, a great magician with advanced cultivation, to secretly help these strange monsters. In 15 years, they gathered about 40 heretics, allowing them to form a large family and gain shelter in the dangerous dungeon. After years of development, the heretics have grown into a force. Among them, there are 3 IV5 people, and even a goblin has reached the IV4 level. If it weren't for Dix's crazy hunting, this number would be even higher. As the heretics grew up, they gradually came up with the idea of going to the ground to take a look. Some even hope to survive under the blue sky and sunshine. This means that they must get along with humans. Oranos heard their wishes, took a long-term view, and held the monster festival. The underlying purpose is to invisibly increase people's acceptance of heretics. But the real effect, haha. Monsters are monsters, and humans are humans. Even if countries are at war with each other, let alone the right species. If you want to get a chance to negotiate, you can only have enough force. With just a few IV5s, it is impossible for the heretics to gain the right to true freedom. Even if someone can recognize it, is the kindness others give you the same as the equality you strive for? People can give it to you, but they can also take it away from you at any time. In order to develop his power in the dungeon, Eugene needs the power of those monsters. However, he is still only IV2 now. Although he can burst into IV5 output, he is still only IV2. Furthermore, the heretics' base is located on the 20th floor. Although it's very close, Eugene hasn't been there yet. In the past 2 days, Niu was busy making final summaries for the middle and upper management, and had to avoid the investigation of the Loki Familia. Even though Eugene has a lot of money to spend, he is very busy with work. Double meaning. 87 Man, you are playing with fire. That night. Inside the Jadong Pavilion. Enjoying Haruki's ear-picking service, Eugene's eyes, which had been closed quietly, suddenly opened. Ding! You have superimposed a magic to 100 levels. Unlock the new achievement, change, and reward advanced gift pack 1. Raffled ticket 10. I saw Eugene's magic column on the system panel. The suffix of flame breath is AC. The C in Roman numerals stands for 100. A full 100 levels of enhancement. Eugene relied on killing monsters and managed to stack a small skill up to the level of a big move. Now he is convinced that the power of his breath of fire even exceeds the giant's breath. You have completed the high-intensity accumulation of a magic and have reached the conditions for qualitative change and advancement. Question mark. Do you want to advance? Eugene's eyes lit up. This gameplay is really getting more and more exciting, and the skill tree has come out. Advanced. He thought silently in his heart, and the next second, the majestic physical power and magic power in his body poured into a huge black hole. What the FK? Eugene's smile froze on his face. How could he have imagined that advancing a magic would consume such a huge amount of physical energy and magic power? The physical strength and magic power that I had accumulated for so long was quickly reduced by half. If I didn't activate Unlimited, I would have to put myself in trouble. Of course, if there was no infinity, there would be no such thing. All I can say is that everything is an arrangement of fate. Eugene endured the pain and felt the loss of physical strength and magic power. After a while, when his remaining power dropped to 1/3, a new magic bar finally popped up on the system panel. Magic Flame. A connection magic based on the breath of flames, which can freely control the shape, temperature and other elements of the breath. This damn thing, isn't it Urzuzi's Danwang with the royal life? Eugene complained in his heart that he had spent so much energy and didn't want to come up with a useless magic. He rubbed himself into Chun-Ji's arms aggrievedly, then closed his eyes and enjoyed it. At the same time, in the underground city, Eugene punched a Tauren without a bull to death, and raised his hand to drain away its physical strength. At the same time, he summoned a large amount of magic potion and poured it into his mouth crazily. The most urgent task is to quickly replenish the physical strength and magic power. Tauren with rough skin and thick flesh are a good choice. Now Eugene is rich and has enough magic potions. Moo. As he was adjusting his condition, several more appeared in front of him. Damn it, if this continues, the second full point will be the Tauren's war cry. Cerberus, own encirclement skill can only be used by its kind. It can't even compare to the pheromone summoning of killer ants. Just in time to try some new magic. Eugene raised his finger and carefully blew out a little flame toward his fingertip. Afraid of ruffling his hair. Hell's Breath, demonic flame, activate. Driven by Eugene's magic power, the jet of flames quickly condensed into a ball at his fingertips. Not only that, according to Eugene's wish, it can also be attached to the hand. In addition to being very hot, it can't even burn the hair. All I can say is that magic is really amazing. With a flick of his hand, Wujin turned the flame into a javelin. Try the power. He waved his arm, and a stream of flames flew through the air, accurately hitting the Minotaur's chest. Laugh. There was an extremely short melting sound in the air. I saw the Tauren running for a few steps, and suddenly felt something in my heart, and looked at the big black hole in his chest. The next second, it fell to the ground helplessly and turned into ashes. It's quite possible. Eugene's eyes lit up. Although the scope of the condensed flames was much smaller, its power and penetration were significantly improved. He then recalled the ground-washing attack, Wind of Light, that Liu used against Dix that day. After recalling the details, Eugene took another mouthful. This time, he didn't blow it out all at once, but slowly spit out a suspended fireball like blowing bubble gum. The fireball seemed to be alive, and the blazing light kept beating. As Eugene's thoughts turned, it kept turning, flying up and down, and making various movements. Then they split and coalesced. Under Eugene's control, the shape of the flame became very flexible. He looked into the distance, his eyes focused. Call. The flames sprinted in a straight line towards the attacking Tauren, and the speed was not slower than the breath. And just when it was about to reach the Tauren, Eugene's mind changed again, and the flame exploded out of thin air, turning into large and small fireballs, surrounding several Tauren. Congeal. Following the operation of the ebony throat in Fulian, the flames rapidly rotated and became sharper, forming spiral cones of fire. Asterisk. The next second, dense rain of fire roared towards the Tauren. Puff puff. The ultra-high temperature cones of fire passed through the flesh as easily as through paper. Even the monsters in level 2 that are famous for their endurance were burnt out with huge scorched black holes under their attack. After passing back and forth more than 10 times, the flames only became slightly smaller. This difficulty was not even a big deal to them. Now, I really can't separate myself from fire. Eugene watched those smart and dangerous flame streams with satisfaction. Following his thoughts, they turned into fire nets, rockets, guns, and fire shields, and finally turned into a fire dragon wandering in the air. People in this different world have probably never seen a dragon in this form before. Oh, and it will also become one of Eugene's symbols. Facing the stone walls on both sides, Eugene stretched out his fingers and twisted his wrists. And the flying fire dragon coiled in midair, ready to go. Crunch. Eugene's fists were clenched, and the fire dragon spread out its sharp claws and fangs, and rushed towards the stone wall desperately, making a loud noise. This move is much more flexible than simple breathing, and it condenses more terrifying magic power. Once you take action, you can attack in groups and continue to harass, or you can surround the enemy and launch a fatal blow from behind. A bullet that can hit directly is better than a barrage. More precise operations are the key to improving combat effectiveness. Not bad. Eugene looked at the rock wall with large deep holes dug out, and raised his hand to extinguish the still burning flames. The recovery mechanism of the dungeon will help him cover up his whereabouts. In the past 2 days, even the Loki Familia should calm down a bit. The holding of the Monster Festival has made everyone look forward to it. By then, the entire Orario will become lively. However, Eugene knew that this festival would not go smoothly. Even if he took away Belle's courage, the plot related to him was changed. But the plan of the urban destroyer, Enyer, will not be affected. At the Monster Festival, a brand new monster will appear. That's when the real carnival begins. And in order to welcome such a grand banquet, Eugene didn't mind either and lit a bunch of bright and dangerous fireworks for him. 588 Damn this young man. Physical strength is strong. Freya Familia. Tower of Babel, top floor. This is a symbol of power and the headquarters of the Freya Familia. The god of love and beauty, who makes everything in the world fall over with his beauty, always sits here, overlooking the entire Orario. Her long silver-gray hair was hanging loose, exuding fatal temptation in every move she made. Even the gods in heaven dare not approach him for fear of becoming a slave of love. But on earth, people don't know this. The strong men of Freya's family are desperate to become stronger just to win the heart of the goddess. For the so-called love, they willingly became her servants. But even so, Freya never gave them true love. She is the wind. You can't expect the wind to surround you all the time. The lazy sigh makes one's bones numb, like a goddess wearing a dazzling 850 starlight, leaning on the sofa in boredom, lamenting the unfairness of fate. Where can I find it? The soul that can be my lover. The gods in the lower realm have self-proclaimed divine powers, but they are not completely unable to use their powers. In addition to her charming sight, Freya also has eyes that can see through the color of a person's soul. She is always collecting interesting souls. But after getting it, he immediately put it aside. In this way, he repeatedly fell into the journey of looking for love. Lord Freya. Behind the goddess, the fierce Oda, who is nearly 2 meters tall, has a strong body, and has an aura like a humanoid monster, lowered his head and sighed. Here she comes again. As the main god who is Aurario's top dependent, he has no relevant consciousness. In order to find love, he always disguises himself and sneaks into the world with the intention of having a chance encounter. The consequence of this is that the entire family members are mobilized to search frantically. I am afraid that the supreme goddess will lose a hair. But even if it caused a huge commotion, Freya never cared. It is her nature to seek encounters. The goddess' eyes glanced into the distance, but she couldn't see any light that made her interested. She felt empty in her heart, as if she couldn't hold on to what she was supposed to hold. Weird. We obviously didn't meet each other by chance, so how could we feel like we were lost? What she doesn't know is that this is all the fate of the stone. No, it's Eugene's influence. She should have passed by that gray-haired boy who was full of energy and had a pure and flawless soul on the street. But this time, because of Eugene's interference, Belle was still lying in the hospital. Even the heroic dream suffered a huge setback. At least within a year, it is impossible for this child to have the idea of becoming an adventurer. Then, Freya's encounter with the little hero she was crazy about was naturally postponed. Lady Freya, the monster festival is about to be held, you want to come and see it. Facing the dazzling jewel-like goddess, Oda's lifeless face couldn't help but reveal nervousness and shyness. Her every frown and every smile are a blessing to the members of the family. Being able to be in the same room with the goddess or even travel together when others are not around is a proud and unforgettable memory. Monster Festival. It will be lively. Freya's eyelashes fluttered twice, and her eyes finally closed slowly. No, I've seen enough of the soul in this city. Whether it is the powerful Loki Familia, the reliable Hephaestus, the cognitively rigid Gubanyu, or the down-to-earth Demeter Familia. She has searched almost everywhere in Aurario. Since you can't find it, let's put it on hold for now. God's life is long. If you can't wait today, then tomorrow. If you can't wait for tomorrow, then it will be the future. Until that crystal clear and beautiful soul broke into his sight unexpectedly. That's probably it. While walking around, Eugene pondered the thoughts of the aloof goddess. Everything about her is love. From partners of justice, to completely neutral, or even chaotic evil. These motives are all for getting the ideal lover. It can be said that after Belle appeared, all her actions revolved around him. In order to stimulate his potential, he tried again and again to encourage his potential. In the original plot, he did not hesitate to charm the monsters into madness at the Monster Festival, forcing Belle to defeat an opponent far more powerful than himself head-on. And she, while watching the hearty battle, was intoxicated by Belle's radiant posture. A pure yandere and ABCH belongs to the category. However, that kid won't be discharged from the hospital for at least a month, but you have no chance to go crazy. Eugene sneered. He didn't have the slightest fondness for Neptune, the most scumbag female in the world. How can a scumbag tolerate another top scumbag? Now that a major potential threat has been eliminated, Eugene can now confidently flex his muscles. The purpose of attacking a girl is to make her remember you. Come out from time to time to refresh your sense of presence. Staying away is the most fatal. Thinking of that blonde girl with 3 hairless hair, Eugene couldn't help but straighten his chest, raise his head and turn up his nose because of how distracted he was. Fortunately, he didn't bring any other girls with him, otherwise he would have had to complain about his lovey-dovey attitude after seeing his behavior. There is no other way. Without the protagonist Belle, so many girls have lost their destination. In order to save their lives, I have no choice but to step forward to avoid having to do the work for them. Following the flow of people, he walked away step by step. But at this moment, you have superimposed a skill to 100 levels. Question mark. Do you want to advance? Damn, why are there so many Tauren in the middle level? Eugene complained for a while, and there was AC in his skill bar, Minotaur war cry. The fake, bull killer, Belle. The real, Tauren's lifelong enemy, is Eugene. In order to replenish the exhausted physical strength in the past 2 days, Niu has been frantically extracting monsters. It's so easy to make up for it, now it's time to advance again. Ah, just advance as you advance. Eugene scratched his head and clicked the button. The next moment, his body was trembling and he felt cold all over under the bright sun. My feet are floating and my eyes are dizzy. This is the first time I have experienced this sour feeling since I came to another world. Eugene's sudden change caused the vendors on both sides to whisper. This young man, looking at the 3.9, is overindulging, and he deserves it. Hateful. How can you be embarrassed in a place like this? Eugene took out a bottle of perfect energy potion and drank it. The next second, it seemed as if a blazing ball of fire was taking shape in his dantian. The rapid recovery of energy greatly fills the energy needed for advancement. Eugene's eyes are no longer dark, and his legs and feet are also sharp. Even Jin was ready to make a move. The aunts covered their mouths and snickered, and the uncles felt ashamed. Damn it, this young man, physical strength is strong. No more. Eugene didn't care about anything else, turned around, slipped into the alley, and returned home with a flying thunder god. At this time, neither Aisha nor Lena woke up. Huh, master. Hey. You be ******************, D, you want it again. Ooh. 89 Do you love me or not? Love crying tone. Hey, did you hear that? Oh my master is having a long talk about life with the 2 young ladies in broad daylight. How many times a day do I have to change this list? The floor also has to be mopped. Ah, Mr. Eugene, I really want to. Me too. Same goes for me. Grr. We love you. Do you love me? Do not love. Huh, do you like it or not? Love, I love you. Wow, Aisha is crying. Heavy hit. Extract the target's physical strength. Heavy hit. Extract the target's physical strength. X 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. Question mark. Withdraw 5%. Question mark. Withdraw 5%. 10%, 10%, 30%, 30%, extraction completed. Eugene, who was sweating profusely, picked up a bottle of wine worth more than 100,000 yuan and blew on the bottle. He looked back at the mess and originally planned to take the 2 girls out to have a good time. Now it seems that there is no way to go. Snap. He clapped his hands, and immediately the maid ran in with a blushing face and a heartbeat. 13 When the 2 ladies wake up, help them freshen up. In the evening, go to this restaurant. By the way, you have worked hard these past 2 days to clean up everywhere. Take this wine, but don't dislike me. Okay, master. Thank you, master. The maid exited happily. Eugene listened to the long breathing behind him and raised the corners of his mouth. You have completed skill advancement. Deep Roar actively releases skills, which can be superimposed on any breath type output to increase speed, range, and penetration. Ho, Shinho. It's a name that suits me very well. Although it feels weird for a man like Eugene to use this trick, it's just a minor move. Tomorrow is the Monster Festival. Let's wait and see. The next day, Orario's tall round wall resembles a pot. And the rising public sentiment everywhere is like water in a boiling pot. Today is the annual Grand Festival, led by the guild, hosted by the Ganesha family, and attended by many family members. With the huge arena as the center, the streets radiating far away turned into a bustling market. Gods and mortals enjoy the atmosphere of entertainment and the atmosphere of festivals together. Master Eugene. From a corner of the street, a petite figure ran quickly. Ms. Lily, who is now a prominent and wealthy businessman in Orario, has regained her identity as a folk girl and jumped into the arms of her sweetheart. Hey, Mr. Eugene's chest muscles. I haven't seen you for a few days. How is Lily doing? It's very hard. It's hard in every sense. Lily said coquettishly, but when she thinks that Master Eugene has entrusted it to me, Lily doesn't feel it's hard anymore. This is a family property that I share with Lord Eugene. Haha, it seems that I have become the pretty boy of the respected M's Lilaluca's family. Little, pretty face. Doesn't this mean that we are already together? Lily's little face turned red, and she rubbed her soft curly hair with her fingers, not knowing what to say. It was at this moment that 2 young and beautiful girls burst into their sight. I said, Lily, why are you running so fast? It turns out that I have to make out with the boss in advance, meow. The visitors are Noroa and Kamui, who are currently the senior security advisors of El Dorado Company and also serve as the president's personal bodyguards. I want to hug the boss too, meow. Don't get ahead of me. Everyone hugged each other all of a sudden, looking very funny. Haha, okay, girls, I miss you too. Eugene put down Lily in his arms, and everyone walked towards the huge arena while chatting. Several beauties with prominent status on weekdays completely transformed into young girls in love around Eugene. The eyes they looked at Eugene were all shining brightly. By the way, boss, what have you been doing these 2 days? Eugene's mouth froze. Night and day and night. How can you say this? Eugene felt a little more guilty inexplicably. He was obviously being missed by several beautiful girls, but he was immersed in primitive impulse and couldn't extricate himself. Isn't it a bit too scumbag? I have my own arrangements. Eugene made all-purpose excuses and successfully maintained his sophisticated image. If Lena and Aisha were present, they might not be able to roast him on the fire. In fact, Eugene originally invited them. But Aisha and the others belong to the Aista family after all, and it is really inappropriate not to return to the headquarters to check in for several days. There is no such thing as deliberately sending someone away. Is that Amazon over there? There are so many people. It's the team of the Ishtar Familia. As they walked, they suddenly caught a glimpse of a group of women in hot clothes and dazzling brown skin. Eugene frowned, secretly complaining that something was wrong. Didn't Ishtar never get involved with those gods? Why did you come to the monster festival this time? In fact, it's because of Eugene. Ishtar and Freya, both of whom are crowned as gods of love and beauty, look down on each other. Therefore, if one party participates in an activity, the other party will ignore it. And just a few days ago at the Gathering of Gods, Freya temporarily lost interest in everything because she failed to meet Bel. The monster festival that was supposed to be participated in the plot also stated that it would no longer be involved. Therefore, this kind of occasion naturally became a good opportunity for the enemy Ishtar to show off his wealth in a high-profile way. Won't you come to the annual big festival? I'm going to make this place my home court. Today, no one wants to see monsters. I am the queen, shine with confidence. The mighty team of the Aista family members guarded the huge float as it drove through the streets. Under the gaze of countless people, Aista, who exuded a fatal charm, enjoyed the feeling of being surrounded by stars. What's up, Freya? Look at the scab-like reactions of these people. I am the most beautiful and noble god. Wow, at this scale, the Ishtar Familia is also very powerful, in every sense of the word. Watching the Amazons passing by from a distance, the girls made complaints. Lily looked at Eugene with straight eyes in dissatisfaction, resentment accumulating above her head. This guy is always like this. Even though there are many stunning beauties around me, I still always look at others with shuddering eyes. Me, do you like the front and back type that much? He often praises Lily for being cute, is it just rhetoric? As a small human race, it has an inherent physical disadvantage compared to other races. Not only appearance, but also confidence and self-esteem will be affected. Finn, who is also a small human, also understands this very well. If he hadn't reached this position, the status of the small human race would probably still be at the bottom of society. Eugene seemed to notice Lily's resentful gaze and looked back with a smile. Is Lily very unwilling? The little human girl shook her head repeatedly, but 057 had to admit it under Eugene's gaze. In her entire life, she would never be able to obtain a tall and sexy figure like those Amazons. Haha, being small has its advantages, and Lily is also as cute as Lily. Besides, who said I only like one kind of woman? Eugene turned around and recited the incantation silently. Under the faint light, his figure quickly changed, turning into a young boy with blonde hair and blue eyes. The image created is based on the beloved harem male protagonist Bel, named Yu. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yu showed a harmless sunny smile, which fascinated the three girls. Needless to say, Lily is of course the ideal type of young man with a height of 1.5 meters, a strong figure and a youthful appearance. Nalua, who is used to being strong, has no resistance to such a soft and weak boy. As for Chloe, she is a total shotacon. Wow, so cute. Everyone swarmed up and surrounded Eugene again. Haha, the plan works. Yu is a little taller, with a 14-year-old appearance and a 24-year-old beauty. He couldn't help but sigh again. Damn it, this transformation magic is so convenient. At the strong request of the girls, Eugene maintained his appearance as Yushaojin and entered the arena with everyone. And at the same time, just beneath the ground where countless people walk back and forth, in the sewers of Warario, a man in a cloak who kept making sinister smiles whispered to the huge squirming shadow in front of him. Go ahead, let's make a scene. Let all Warario know that she is coming. Control the sky. Why does 90 come out from below, or are there several? Ho ho. As the huge wild boar charged towards the tiny trainer, everyone clenched their hands in unison. Many women even started screaming. Can such a huge monster be tamed with just a whip? Such a miracle can only be believed if you see it with your own eyes. I saw the young beast tamer lashing the ferocious monster with a whip, and then dodged sideways. When the monster is in pain and stiff, you can bully it, leap onto its back, and start riding and training it. That process is much more exciting than riding a bull. Young dragons over 3 meters tall, silverback apes, orcs, goat-headed monsters. Each head exudes a terrifying ferocity, making people intimidated. However, these animal trainers were able to seize the opportunity and conquer in thrilling dodges. Their postures were strong and vigorous, flying up and down on the monster's back, but they never lost their center of gravity. Until the end, the monster's physical strength was exhausted, and under the half-suppression and half-pacification of the trainer, it showed a docile attitude. At this time, the whole audience burst into warm applause. People praised this miracle of coexistence between humans and animals and the great courage of the animal trainers. But that's all. The preparations Uranus made for the heretics were of no use at all. Even if it is proven, monsters may not hurt people. But the fear rooted in my heart will not go away. Eugene watched the fierce battle in the field and remained silent. Master Eugene, aren't you happy? Lily asked amidst the cheers. No, it's very exciting. Eugene recovered and smiled. He looked around, his sharp eyes searching the crowd. After the strength is improved, the dynamic vision also increases significantly, making this kind of thing possible. Finally, almost directly opposite, he found his target. An elf girl with a mountain-colored high ponytail and a long skirt. And beside her, there were 2 Amazon girls who were very excited. Thousand Fairies, Lefiya, Angry Snake, Tion, and Great Severing, Tiona. 3 young girls from Loki's family gathered together and enjoyed the animal taming performance while talking and laughing. But Icy was not among them. Eugene frowned. Logically speaking, Freya would not show up. According to the changes in the plot, Icy should follow these 3 best friends to watch the show. Could it be that Loki was forcefully pulling someone away again, under the pretext of going on a date alone? Just when I was wondering what went wrong, a strange vibration was transmitted to Eugene's perception. That's the sound of a wild beast. The fangs were rubbed together, and heavy and rapid footsteps were heard, eager to try. It's not right. His extraordinary hearing caught the cry from the outside world among the noise. Someone come quickly. Monster, the monster has escaped. Exclamation mark. How is this going? Eugene stood up suddenly, making Lily and others startled. Go to the bathroom, Eugene said in a calm voice. Miss Bodyguards, please watch out for the CEO. After speaking, he turned and left. The 3 women were left standing there looking at each other. Something is wrong. Eugene's expression is different from usual. It was a very unpleasant look, as if something had exceeded his expectations, and he was full of dissatisfaction. Who the hell is it? Flying onto the pillar at the edge of the arena, Eugene looked far into the distance. There were riots happening in all directions of the arena. More than one huge figure could be vaguely seen, running rampant on the street, raising clouds of dust and smoke. They really came out, and there were a lot of them. In the original plot, these monsters were released by Freya. The purpose is just to see how Belle breaks through his limits in desperate situations. She doesn't hesitate to entertain herself in this way, which shows how crazy she is. But now that Belle's line is cut off, who will release such a large number of monsters? Just as Eugene was thinking, a figure wrapped in a strong wind disappeared through the air. That snow-white dress and shining blonde hair are the hallmarks of the Sword Princess. It's Ace. She originally came to participate in the festival, but Loki was too annoying, and the 2 of them lost time while strolling around the market. I originally thought of rushing to watch the show, but instead I met the escaped monster head-on. At the request of the pursuing Ganesha family members, Ice made a prompt decision and chased after them alone. She has the blessing of wind spirit speed. Among IV5, she has the fastest speed, which is perfect for chasing monsters. Oh, it's really fast. In the blink of an eye, Eugene's green whirlwind had already flown a very long distance. He looked back at the venue. Members of the Ganesha family had already begun to appease the audience. Chaos is the most difficult to control at the beginning. Information occlusion and fear of the unknown often lead to secondary disasters. Fortunately, there were a large number of Ganesha's dependents. Under the loud voice of the main god Ganesha, everyone stayed in place uneasily. How could this happen? It's never happened in previous years. Is it an accident or someone did it on purpose? The huge arena, which was previously filled with all kinds of cheers, is now filled with questions and whispers. This is what human beings are, insecure and fickle. People are like water. If they are given sufficient freedom, they will drift with the tide and become disordered. In this world, there must be a riverbed that can regulate everything and cannot overflow. That kind of person is the rule, the world and the earth. Everyone, please be patient. The strong men from the Ganesha family have already chased us out. Now there are no monsters in the arena, it is absolutely safe. I hope everyone stays calm and stays where they are. You can leave when the monsters are gone. The members of the Ganesha family shouted hard and tried to maintain order, but they were still being questioned and even abused. Hey, Ganesha, what are you doing? At the highest VIP viewing platform, Ishtar walked forward like a shining snake, twisting his waist like a water snake, and questioned the god standing in front of him with a displeased expression. But the elephant god Ganesha, who wears an elephant mask all day long and looks like a tall and muscular man, remains motionless and roars without looking back. Don't be impatient. We are still investigating. Don't forget to say a standard mantra when you're done. I am, Ganesha. Who asked you that, idiot? Aista was so angry at this idiot that she couldn't help herself. Chaos or whatever. But wouldn't it be that the current situation makes these people who are in fear have no intention of appreciating their own beauty? So what's the point of participating in this kind of festival? Lord Ishtar, do we want to go back? Aisha, the deputy leader, appeared at the rear. And just when Aista Zhao Hao had no intention of staying and was about to agree to return. Boom! A huge tremor was heard below the entire arena. The next second, starting from the center, the land collapsed crazily downwards, and cracks caused by vibrations spread all the way to the edge of the audience. Ahem, what's going on? Lefiya on the other side was confused and choked several times from the raised dust. Beside her, the Amazon sisters who were about to get up and go outside to see what was going on were also forced to stop. Then, what is that? Tiona's eyes widened and she stretched out her fingers towards the center of the dust. I saw thick shadows swaying slowly. The huge head looked like giant snakes. Coming. Eugene's pupils shrink, he is a new type of monster created by the fallen fairy. This grand event has completely exceeded his expectations. What is this? Feedback on changing the world line. Just when the attention of the whole audience was attracted by those giant snakes. A hoarse and wild laugh resounded throughout the entire audience. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. 91 Fortunately, this is a snake head, not a turtle. Absolute evil, Erebus the Dark God, gluttonous Chaldo, silence Alfie. Just after the monster escaped and the masters from all walks of life chased it away. This big explosion happened in the middle of the ring arena. A large number of giant snake shadows appeared from it. For a time, what should have been the safest place has become dangerous in an instant. Everyone was in chaos, including Eugene. He didn't understand why the plot turned out like this. Both the escape of monsters and the appearance of these monsters are surprising. What on earth are those? Snake. Tione and Tiona raised questions one after another. Even though they had descended to the 50th floor, they could not identify the shadow that appeared in the pothole. Ha ha ha, ah ha 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 ha. Damn it, what a standard villain laugh. Eugene was captivated by this tune, even the funniest ones couldn't compare to it. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A cloaked figure slowly appeared. Next to him, there were giant emerald green snakes covered with scales, but there was no face on the head. A faceless snake, this is what it looks like at first glance. But Eugene knew that this thing was actually a giant piranha. The so-called facelessness is just the state of the bloody mouth being closed. Fortunately it's called a turtle, not a snake. Otherwise, when you see this thing's brain blossoming, you will have associations and leave a shadow, right? Tired of boring animal taming games? For those of you who have experienced dark times, you must be indifferent to this kind of petty quarrel. 810 inches. Then, I'll leave it up to you, Vito Bear, to present you with a real show. Vito Bear. This guy. Who is it again? Eugene's face is full of questions. This eldest brother appears in such a naughty way, but his name is unknown. Is this plot completely broken? Vito. I've never heard of this name. When Lefiya and the Amazon sisters joined the Loki Familia, the dark period had passed. I have only heard of those names a little bit. In fact, even if they participated in that battle, they might not recognize this guy. When the dark sect is in power, there are simply as many fanatical believers as cannon fodder. Rumble. Just when everyone was in shock and confused about Vito's appearance. Another roar came from outside the venue. It's the entrance. Immediately, some spectators near the entrance to the arena began to wail. The entrance was blown down. Everyone has seen the arena, which is a building that needs to be climbed from the bottom up. Once the entrance and exit at the bottom is destroyed, it means that people can no longer enter or exit. In other words, this place has been completely reduced to a closed place. The tall vertical walls have completely become a prison for people. Don't even think about escaping. Using a magic item, Vito's voice can reach everyone's ears. This celebration cannot be missing from all of you. The audience in this arena was now full, numbering in the tens of thousands. Even if individual personnel can leave through the back door and other passages, it is impossible to evacuate such a large scale in a short time without relying on the Tianmen. Hey, the gods above, please take care of me. A gladiatorial arena should look like a gladiatorial arena, right? What kind of situation is a person and a monster falling in love with each other? Vito's voice was sharp, and the face covered with horrific scars under the cloak was full of madness. From now on, everyone is my hostage. Choose me the gladiator from among you. Otherwise, I will kill you all. As soon as his words came out, the expressions of the entire audience changed drastically. The huge commotion suddenly broke out after being stagnant for 2 seconds. Countless people rushed towards the auditorium below, trying to escape before Vito took action. However, how could mortals escape? The disorderly flow of people collided with each other, and many people fell to the ground and were trampled wantonly. The scene became chilling for a while. Children who disobey will be whipped. Vito looked at those people coldly and waved. I saw the emerald green faceless snake swinging its body and rushing towards the crowded crowd. No. When the crowd screamed, 2 figures as fast as the wind appeared in front of the green snake. It's Tion and Tiona. As level 5 adventurers, they can pass through large auditoriums in a very short time and withstand incoming attacks with a tough attitude. The 2 sisters had cold eyes and waved their powerful fists at the same time. Boom! A huge shock wave appeared in midair. The giant snake was so shocked by this combined attack that it flew backwards. The 2 sisters also fell backward at the same time. What is this? It's too hard. Although the Amazon is famous for its excellent body, it is also difficult for the hardness of the giant snake's skin. They can kill level 3 monsters with 1 punch. But now, he failed to hurt the weird faceless snake. Haha, aren't there warriors coming out soon, BDDH? Vito's eyes shone. Although he had been hiding underground for many years, he still heard about the reputation of the 2 Amazon sisters of the Loki family. Don't attack civilians, you be ********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* Haha, it's okay not to take action now. As long as you two participate in my game, I promise not to take action against anyone. Is it that troublesome? Tion, who was proud of his figure, puffed up his chest and sneered, although these things are a bit troublesome, but it's just for you. The two sisters looked at each other, full of confidence. It will be solved within 10 seconds. The twins already have excellent coordination, and when the two LV5s work together, they can produce output beyond imagination. But after hearing such a threat, Vito not only didn't feel any nervousness but instead laughed even more happily. PFF'd ha 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 ha. You two are so innocent and cute. It seems that he has never fought the battle that year. He suddenly opened his cloak, and underneath, there was a series of flaming stones. These things are the strongest gunpowder in the dungeon. Which one of the dark factions is afraid of death? I will come here, in front of so many people, even facing those high gods, will I be afraid of death? His expression gradually became ferocious. If Lord Erebus hadn't been too kind at the critical moment, you guys would have finished your game long ago. What kind of bullshit, brave, or fierce, it wasn't enough in front of us back then. As the last disciple of Lord Erebus, I will turn into absolute evil today. Chaos is the essence of the world, look. Just like those people you were protecting behind you. Their selfish and ugly faces are the best proof. My purpose today is to make you bullshit adventurers realize what despair is. His roar shook the earth, and the excessively sharp sound made people cover their ears. Tion and Tiona looked at each other. This person is completely crazy, right? How dare you challenge the entire Orario with a string of bombs and a few monsters? Just stop talking big words. Those strong men outside are rushing back with all their strength. There are several IV5s in the Ganesha familia alone. To suppress these things like you is just a sprinkling of water. Yes, this is your weakness. Vito smiled cruelly. He raised his hand high and immediately smashed a prop into pieces. Rumble. I saw a few pillars above the arena, breaking with the sound. A large piece of pillar fell down, and under everyone's horrified gaze, a bloody wave rolled down the audience seats. Dead people. The faces of the two sisters who were too late to come back for help changed dramatically. How so? Those guys outside can hear it too. I've been putting up with it for 7 years. In these 7 years, I buried the flame stones in various places throughout the arena. And, through magic props, the detonating devices of these flame stones are perfectly integrated into the body. Now I don't have a few days left to live. But as soon as I die, the entire arena will be blown up to the sky. These tens of thousands of people will all be buried with me. The corners of his mouth were so wide that they almost tore apart. Now, choose. Escape like this, or fight with me. I said, no matter who comes here. This feast will never stop. 92 One person orders 3 girls. This is too much. Fight or flight. No matter who the opponent is, this feast will never stop. It took 7 years to lay the groundwork, and he did not hesitate to turn his body into a prop. Just to implement the belief of my Lord, God. Absolute evil, a chaotic evil that overrides all. This dark and bloody will once filled the entire Orario with fear. Now, it will be reproduced again. To put it nicely, if I win the battle, you will also detonate the bomb, right? Eugene couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. How can you reason with such a terrorist who is willing to risk his life? Vito simply threw away the cloak, completely exposing his body covered with flame stones to everyone's sight. Any attack on me will result in me being blown to pieces. And the moment I die, this arena, along with the bodies of tens of thousands of people, will be reduced to ashes. This is an unprecedented suicide attack. Because of the peace for several consecutive years and the huge flow of people brought by the festival, today's plan was directly promoted. Don't underestimate those flame stones. Back then, the reason why the family of Estrella, the goddess of justice, was destroyed was largely related to them. As long as the weight is enough, even the deep floor can explode large areas in one go, plunging everything into a sea of fire. Luckily that stupid elf isn't here, otherwise he would really go on a rampage. Because the family members were wiped out, Liu was really sensitive to flame stones and dark factions. Fortunately, she shouldn't have a holiday today, otherwise I really don't know what would happen. That's it. Don't even think about leaving the table. Vito's distorted and ugly face was full of intoxication. This feeling of being feared by others, and feeling like one person is superior to thousands of people, is really wonderful. Back then, when the dark faction came out, the babies stopped crying and the streets were empty. How majestic. If it weren't for the failure of Erebus, Orario would have been completely reduced to a place outside the law, a source of fear. Ah, Lord Erebus, I can't finish your unfinished business. However, I will let everyone be enveloped by my dark will forever. UB********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* anger at the same time. Fight, fight. You actually involved innocent people, I have to tear you bugs to pieces. Oh well. Vito's expression was intoxicated, as if he had already appreciated the beautiful scenery of the bloody ground. Then, follow the ancient rules. There can be no more than 3 warriors on the field at one time. And, no weapons. What? Everyone present was shocked. The adventurer's ability to defeat monsters of the same level relied heavily on equipment. Even a mortal can understand the difference between having a sword in hand and being bare-handed. Are you surprised? It's also a gamble of life and death, and the monster doesn't even wear equipment. Vito sneered at the serious-looking Amazon sisters. I heard that in the hometown of the Amazons, children start fighting since they were young. Why, now it seems that you don't even have this courage. Shut up, you be asterisk 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 D. Tion and Tiona's pretty faces were filled with anger at the same time. The aura of powerful beasts emitted from their bodies. Very good, the two warriors have arrived. Are there any volunteers? There was silence. People were cowering, and no one was willing to come forward. Even in the field, there is more than one IV3 or even IV4. Ha ha ha, very good, this kind of scene is really fascinating. Guarding a group of self-interested villains, adventurers, is really selfless. Vito mocked the crowd who were gripped by fear, raised his hands in the air and said in a sharp voice, 5 numbers. If no one comes forward, another auditorium will be randomly detonated. What? Wait, that's not possible. Hey, you must be IV3. Come up quickly. I don't want to fight that lunatic. The huge sound wave swept across the people, which was caused by themselves pushing and cursing each other. Everyone who usually lived in harmony and greeted each other with smiles was completely torn apart at this moment. Vito laughed until tears came out. 5. He started counting down. And with this sound, the scene became even more chaotic. 4. Quote. Hey wait, we can do it too. Tion and Tiona became anxious. With all their strength, they could not stop the countdown. Eugene waits and watches. Like Vito, he was also thinking silently. Quote exclamation mark quote. I come. The girl's sweet voice penetrated the air and silenced the crowd. The elf girl with a delicate face and no warrior temperament in her body stepped out slowly. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Her expression was firm, but her clenched fists and trembling hype ponytail proved her inner panic. Lefiya Vitis, the 1,000 Fairies, is an IV3 mage in the Loki Familia. Although young and immature, but he is Orario's strongest mage, the successor recognized by Riveria, the 9 Demon Queens. The magic, elf ring, she possesses can reproduce all the magic of the elves. With only IV3, he already has the output capability of an IV5 mage. Lefiya. The Amazon sisters were surprised and happy when they saw their companion's appearance. Fortunately, the current crisis has finally been resolved. But what is surprising is that Lefiya is a fort mage and her own strength is very weak. During the long singing process, she will become a living target. It would be okay if they were in a large army, but now they were the only two in the front row, and it was difficult to ensure Lefiya's safety. Oh. Wahahahaha. No. Vito laughed so hard. The combined courage of tens of thousands of people cannot even compare to that of a little girl. How can you have the nerve to survive? He was about to continue laughing at the earth-colored people in front of him, but was interrupted by anger. Stop distorting reality here. The one who caused all this is obviously you. Everyone is afraid and everyone hesitates. We are all flesh and blood, different from cold-blooded demons like you. I, Lefiya Voridis, as the strongest and noblest member of Orario's Loki Familia, must punish you. She used this energy to vent her emotions, strengthen her aura as much as possible, and hope that her state of mind, which had reached the limit of tension, would fall back. Although there is no magic wand, the output ability of the magician is much greater than that of the warrior. In the coming battle, she must put aside distracting thoughts. That's well said. Then let's start like this. 3 warriors are invited to enter. The worst duel ever begins. And at this moment, Jung, a roaring monster, was split into 2 by a sharp slash. Ice, who had been chasing the fleeing monster all the way, landed lightly on the roof. The sword he borrowed casually in his hand was already on the verge of reaching its limit. Well, it's a long way to go. Icy looked back, her indifferent golden eyes reflecting the smoke and dust rising into the sky. That's the arena over there. What happened? 93 Amazon sisters, who can withstand this? The first duel is about to begin. However, Ishtar, who had originally intended to evacuate, showed an interesting expression at this time. Those 2 children are also Amazons. It's a pity that you didn't join my army. Tion and Tiona are warriors from the distant, fighting country, Trezilla. The race there is dominated by Amazons, and their main god, Kali, is a fanatic for the ultimate battle. Amazon girls are locked up together when they are only a few years old and trained to fight. Only the one who survives to the end can win the title of warrior. In this GU breeding farm-like environment, Tion and Tiona finally stood out. They got the opportunity to leave the country and travel around. After wandering all the way, I came to Orario. Because of Amazon's warlike nature and his IV3 strength at a young age, 627, was robbed by everyone. In the end, it was the Loki Familia who overcame all objections and won their hearts with their strength. Such examples are very rare. Because of the nature of Amazons, they almost all join Ishtar's command. In the side story plot, Ishtar also has a cooperative relationship with the distant Kali family. Haha, although the qualifications are very good, they are just two chicks. Ishtar licked her lips and said with a charming appearance, "If there is a chance, let them also taste the taste of primitive desire. The two little girls will definitely come to my side." Her words ended here, but what she was thinking in her heart was that the addition of two talented Amazon girls could greatly increase her own combat power. At that time, with the help of the killing stone ritual, all members will be upgraded. Freya's Familia is nothing but a local chicken wag. Regarding the main god who stayed to watch the show, Aisha could more or less guess what she was thinking. She sighed softly. Amazons were almost unable to disobey Ishtar. This is a factor of blood, relying on perseverance to support it is nonsense. Lord Ishtar, do you think they can win? Who knows? Aista waved her hand casually, not caring at all. All she needs is the power to use. It's just a good opportunity to take a look at the level of these two girls. Me. The goddess narrowed her beautiful eyes. These green monsters were unheard of, and they came from the dark sect. Could it be that? Is it a product related to fallen fairies? Haha, if it is as she thought, she really needs to watch this battle carefully. In order to bring down Freya, Ishtar will use all his power. Among them, including the Dark faction. Over the years, she has privately invested a huge amount of money and become an investor in the Dark faction. In response, those lunatics promised to give her a powerful weapon. Based on the information they disclosed, its source is none other than the fallen fairy spirit. It doesn't matter how many mortals die. Anyway, after a few years, they will grow back like weeds. Only that damn stinky woman Freya, I must trample her to the ground. Ishtar's obsession has reached its peak. In the heaven, her name has been suppressed. But on the ground, this suppression still exists. God will not change, so this resentment will never be lifted. Unless one of the two gods disappears. Haha, just fight underground until both sides suffer. No matter what the result is, I will make a profit. You guys, please don't take action next. Aista turned around and ordered. Grr, Lord Ishtar is really evil. A bloated and huge figure, making a hoarse and unpleasant voice, appeared next to Aisha. Her appearance is indescribably ugly, with a strong body, a broad head, and heavy breathing. There is no Amazonian racial advantage in her body. Man-killer, Frini Jamil, the IV5 leader of the Ishtar Familia, is a being who is alienated and feared by everyone even within the Familia. It's such a good situation, but you don't let her show off her beauty. How can you catch a man like this? Phryne's toad-like face revealed a spine-chilling smile. Her perception of beauty seems to be a bit racially biased. If placed in the worldview of blessings for a beautiful world, she will definitely be a peerless beauty of the giant frog clan. But as a human being, she is the first believing woman in the world. Not only did he despise the beauties in the family, headed by Aisha, but privately he even felt that Ishtar was inferior to him. For the man she likes, she will mercilessly tie him to the family headquarters and use the strongest sea drug to him. Because of his brutal behavior, he was nicknamed the Man-Killer. Even so, people still think that she is a killer who charms men to death with her beauty. Just restrain yourself. Ishtar has always ignored the atrocities committed by his men. If this place collapses, we cannot let our people suffer losses. 2. Cuckoo, the ugly girls deserve to die, but since Lord Ishtar has said it, I will condescend to see them. She took a long step and disappeared into the shadows again. Aisha, on the other hand, had a cold face the whole time. She and this toad spirit were the worst at dealing with each other. I'll get rid of you sooner or later. Aisha clenched her fists. With the magic book given by Eugene, her combat power has greatly increased. As long as you level up as quickly as possible, isn't it easy to kill a toad? But then she thought about it, she and Lena had been stuck together with that scumbag every day for the past 2 days, and they were almost inseparable. The family members won't be back for a few days, so how can they have time to exercise? Thinking of this, Livilia, who had always been aloof, felt hot on his face and lowered his head. Damn it, isn't this all inseparable from that guy? On the other side, the powerful men from the Ganesha family were rushing back eagerly. For this festival, they assigned 6 LV5s, including the group leader, to be in charge. It can be described as a luxurious lineup. But even so, he was still put in a position too careless. After several consecutive years of comfort, security flaws appeared. Who would have thought that the arena that was supposed to be the safest would now turn into a huge hostage cage? Ganesha's rod, Shakti tried his best to stay calm and arranged for his men to disperse and surround the venue. 1.2 She had a hunch that this turmoil would definitely not be simple. At this moment, a speeding figure overhead attracted attention. Ice walked on the wind and landed gracefully in front of Shakti. Sword Princess. Everyone's eyes lit up and they felt relieved. Because of wind magic, Icy's mobility is among the best in level 5. Even Finn and the others are inferior. The situation is unclear and the entrance to the venue is blocked. Our main force will start taking action from all corners. Before that, I hope you can fly into the arena and help maintain order. Faced with Shakti's request, Icy nodded in agreement without hesitation. She tiptoed to the ground and was about to take off again. A loud explosion sounded in the field. The battle inside has already begun. 94 Tentacle play never goes out of style. Oh, the warriors are entering. In the center of the dilapidated arena, 9 giant snakes were swinging. Vito was surrounded in the middle of them, overlooking the 3 tiny challengers from a high position. Tione and Tiona are separated in the front, and Lefiya is tense in the back. According to the rules, they need to fight 3 monsters and win. Every time he wins a round, Toby will let him go. And if you lose, a bomb will explode. This duel will not stop until both parties are completely dead. You can look forward to it as much as you want. Vito's smile was cruel. These gadgets are quite powerful. Don't worry. Sing with peace of mind, Lefiya. Tiona loudly encouraged the elf girl behind her. As long as you use your magic, one shot is enough to destroy them all. Theon and I will protect you. The 2 girls turned around and gave Lefiya a thumbs up sign at the same time. Hearing this, the elf girl also put on a solemn expression. I will definitely save everyone. It's starting. Vito screamed strangely, and the 3 giant snake shadows were stimulated and shot out towards the 3 challengers. They are huge in size, nearly 2 meters thick and over 20 in length, and their bodies are covered with indestructible scales. And when moving, the speed is extremely fast. Coming. Tione issued a warning, and together with her sister, they flew up and fought against the 2 giant snakes that attacked first. Boom boom. The 2 of them threw out their long legs together, exploding a wave of air in midair, and the monster fell hard to the ground. It's said to be a battle, but in fact, it's a one-sided beating. The power of the giant snake itself is not huge, but the toughness of its scales is too exaggerated, making it impossible for 2 physically transcendent IV5s to take down it for a while. In addition to the hardness of the skin, the strength, speed and reaction ability are far lower than Tione and Tiona. If 13 doesn't have this layer of skin, it would be at the level of IV3. The 2 sisters were punching and kicking, making a shaking sound, and exchanging information. Now it seems that it is just a durability specialization, barely considered IV4. In normal times, if 2 people were holding weapons, 10 or 8 of these monsters would be killed in just one encounter. But this layer of skin is really durable. Unlike other monsters, they don't seem to have any vital points in their bodies. Otherwise, it stands to reason that the impact caused by the fists and feet alone would be enough to shatter the internal organs. If you insist on fighting, you can win, but it will take more effort, such as twisting off the head. But they are not really without weapons. Even without a wand, a magician is still a powerful weapon. Make a wish in the name of Wei Xian. As soon as the 2 sides fought, they started chanting. This battle will not be won overnight. In order to end it as quickly as possible and reduce accidents, she must show her output ability. Magic, the Ring of Elf, allows Lefiya to reproduce any magic skill of the elves. Even Riveria's wide area bombing magic can be copied. Although it will consume twice as much magic power, this girl's magic power has been overwhelming since she was a child, and she has never lacked it. Her eyebrows are serious and her posture is dancing. The level of these monsters does not seem to be too high. Compared with the IV4 LV5 or even IV6 big bosses deep in the dungeon, they are not scary at all. Lefiya was confident that as long as she finished singing, she could end them all with a single spell of magic. Ancestors of the forest, noble compatriots, answer my voice and come to the grassland. The girl's skin reflected crystal spots of light, and the magic circle under her feet rotated into shape. She prayed devoutly, and the mantras stimulated the magic power in her body, gradually building a magical circle field. Boom! The two sisters, who were constantly flying and jumping between the giant snakes in front, sensed the huge magic power coming from behind, and accelerated their attack speed. Under the gaze of countless people, they completely turned into erratic shadows, and their movements were dizzying. Level 5 adventurers can explode with catapult-like power by relying only on the most basic physical strength. As fighters, the Amazon sisters are even higher. Even though he can't be beaten to death, he can still push his opponent back a long way. Come on, Lefiya. The two of them shouted for their companions in their hearts, and at the same time, the strength in their hands further increased. They are like violent machines, blowing out hot air while transforming into humanoid beasts, beating those damned monsters until they retreat. What's wrong? This level is not enough to fight. The two of them kept leaping in the air with the help of the giant snake's body, sometimes sticking together to switch attack targets. This aerial battle was as gorgeous as a well-rehearsed performance. The legendary hero jumped among the terrifying monsters with ease and grace, without any hint of trouble. Euler. The two sisters, who were in mid-air, raised their hips and legs at the same time, gathering strength on their heels. They were like falling meteorites, hitting the sluggish giant snake directly below, and the sound of breaking wind was deafening. Boom! A violent tremor sounded on the ground. The giant snake didn't even have time to reveal its true form before it was shattered into mud, crushed into dust, and turned into a line of fly ash. Snap! The magic stone in its body fell to the ground. And the moment the two women saw the magic stone, their eyes suddenly froze. It was not the usual purple-black color, but an extremely ominous and dirty color that was consistent with what they had seen before. These things are of the same origin as the new monsters they encountered on the 50th floor. After the Loki Familia arrived at the 50th floor, a large force repaired, but the Vanguard exploration team composed of Finn and others found 10 kinds of huge green maggots appearing in groups at the entrance to the 51st floor. Their speed and power are not too strong, but the most deadly thing is that all their body fluids are strong corrosive fluids. Except for the most advanced weapons with indestructible attributes, all other equipment melts at the touch of a finger. Adventurers below level 5 encountered it and were seriously injured on the spot. Therefore, the Loki Familia was caught off guard. In order to stop the loss in time, they could only return with the wounded. And during the battle, the magic stones found in the bodies of the maggots were of this color. They are all green, they are disgusting to fight, and they still have the same demon. The two sisters understood at the same time that the two monsters came from the same source, and both had major connections with the dark sect. While they were stunned, the two giant snakes that had been beaten to the point of losing their health staggered up again. Oh, you're more resistant to F*********G than I thought. Eugene, who was watching the theater, admired the durability of this thing. If this is extracted, how much durability can be added? 500, 800. Relying on IV3 to resist the indiscriminate bombardment of level 5, this defense is higher than that of ordinary Goliath. However, you two don't get too proud. He looked at the two Amazon girls who were deep into the enemy's lines with playful eyes. That thing wasn't a real snake after all. As a plant-type monster, it's not okay to keep staring at the main body. Sure enough, just when the two were about to raise their fists to fight again, Vito, who was above his head, couldn't help but chuckle. His treacherous look left the two sisters completely confused. Brother, your little brother fell down before I even tried my best. That's it, are you still happy? They were puzzled by Vito's strange behavior. At the same time, the magical light coming from behind became more and more dazzling. The harbinger of the end, the white snow. Facing the dusk, let the strong wind roll up. I saw Lefiya's body temperature drop rapidly, the huge magic power in her hands gathered, and the completed elven ring under her feet was spinning rapidly, depicting the second level of magic circle. This technique is called Finnbul Winter. It is the ice magic that Livilia has mastered, with a huge range of power. Once activated, everything within sight will turn into solid ice, which can be described as an artificial winter. If I use this, I might be able to freeze that guy in one go. That way, there might be a chance to disarm the explosive device. With this intention in mind, Lefiya devoted herself to magic chanting. But at this moment, the ground beneath your feet suddenly bulged, and a thick whip shot up into the sky from the side of the elf girl. The next second, he swung hard and hit her in the abdomen. Puff! The weak elf mage instantly spurted blood from his mouth, flew out, and rolled out large amounts of dust on the ground. Quote. Lefiya's body trembled. The impact of this blow penetrated deep into her organs. She felt dizzy and couldn't even stand up. And the magic circle that had been constructed with so much difficulty began to collapse rapidly as the chanting was interrupted, turning into disordered magic and overflowing. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Lefiya, Tion and Tiona, who were full of confidence just a second ago, now had a drastic change in their expressions and lost their composure. How could they have expected that the other party would attack from underground? PFF'd ha 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 ha. You idiots. In the dungeon, no one taught you not to leave too far from the back row. We didn't even anticipate this kind of attack. It's true that Amazon has no brains. The harsh laughter drove the two sisters into madness at the same time. Their expressions were ferocious, their aura exploded, and even the ground shook with cracks. I won't let you pass. Vito's thoughts moved, and a giant snake came up fearlessly to prevent them from going to rescue 057. Get out of here, Mom. Tion's expression was crazy, and the blood of mad fighting was boiling in his body. Her innate skill, anger brings chaos, allows her to greatly increase her abilities when she is extremely angry. She took the lead and with just one kick knocked the giant snake blocking the road to the ground like a broken bag, unable to move. However, this situation did not allow them to leave any last-ditch blows. The two of them rushed at full speed towards Lefiya, who was falling into the dust. But a sharp scream suddenly sounded in his ears. I saw the giant snake paralyzed on the ground. At this time, the scales on its head slowly opened, and its fangs opened wide like a giant flytrap, revealing the terrifying bloody mouth inside. Not a snake, but a piranha. Only then did the two sisters understand the true form of this monster. No wonder it summons those whips. It's because the root system spreads underground. The two of them kept walking, but they were still a little slow. Those thick roots have broken out of the ground and enveloped Lefiya. Her limbs were entangled, and her neck and abdomen were tightened. Eugene's wide-eyed, tentacle play never gets old. Creak. Under Vito's control, those tentacles tightened rapidly with such force that Lefiya's eyes turned white and she vomited blood. Her throat was strangled, and the injuries to her abdomen had caused internal bleeding. Unable to chant, unable to gather magic power. With these two things, this magician is already useless. If there is no healing potion, even if Livilia comes, there will be no way to save him. Stop going forward. If she moves again, I will break her neck. Vito's roar forced the two angry girls into calmness. Their teeth were rubbing against each other and their eyes were widening, but they were truly in a desperate situation. Don't you family members like to protect you very much? I'll give you a chance to choose. Are you protecting your companions or protecting the people? Admit defeat, and I'll let her live. Correspondingly, I want them to die. Vito's expression was crazy. Under the almost violent glares of Tion and Tiona, and facing the frightened uproar of the whole audience, he raised his hand and pointed. Choose. Friends of justice. Who is going to be sacrificed to death? 95 is not enough. I need bow. Key. Desperate situation. The worst trolley problem ever. He is a companion who lives together day and night. Or save those innocent people. There is no third option, because the wrench of the track is in the opponent's hand. If he were willing, no one would survive. Damn it. Damn it. Kong had a surge of momentum, but could not move. The expressions on Tion and Tiona's faces were on the verge of collapse. It is always easier to destroy than to build. And a madman who is reckless will always have more choices than a person who is hesitant. Cough. Lefiya's mouth continued to bleed. Her chest rose and fell with difficulty, trying to transport a little bit of air from the damaged trachea. Vito was not joking. If he wanted to, he could break Lefiya's neck in just one thought. Choose quickly, messengers of justice. Do you need companions or faith? It is for the sake of righteousness that I abandon my best friend. Or give up justice for her. Can't decide, can't export. Both sides of the scale are so heavy that people can't breathe. Vito admired this stunning view and was filled with a sense of spiritual satisfaction, which made his broken body unable to help but feel the desire for Boki. It's wonderful, the feeling of holding justice on the fire and listening to their pain. Look, those whose reason has been swallowed up by fear have begun to blame. What is that, elf? If you are so weak, don't go up and hold us back. It's just one person, why are you hesitating? Abandon her and quickly destroy the monster. What Loki Familia is, it's just a false name. When people are on the verge of collapse, they always want to find an outlet. Whether that makes sense or not. This is the true face of human nature, this is the true evil nature of human nature. Damn it, someone come quickly. Someone come and save Lefiya. Someone please tell me what to do. Leader, Riveria, Gareth, whoever it is, please. The Amazon sisters' minds were buzzing with noise and they couldn't think. No matter how powerful they are only 17-year-old girls. I have no experience in dealing with this situation and am completely passive. And just when the court fell into a fatal stalemate. Boss. Behind Lily and others, Eugene's figure flashed away. Only his voice is etched in my mind. Take care of yourself, the situation is not good, run away immediately. Go to play for a while. Call. After the final explosion, the arena fell into silence again. At this time, Icy and others had also arrived in the surrounding area. Under Shakti's arrangement, Ice controlled the wind, ignored the terrain, and climbed to the highest point of the arena in 2 steps. As soon as her eyes settled, her expression froze. Lefiya. Passing by the swaying piranha flowers, Vito turned his back to him and laughed wildly, and Tiona were arrogant but helpless. At the end of Icy's gaze was the dying elf girl who was entangled in roots, spitting out blood. She is a kind-hearted girl with a delicate appearance and a gentle personality, but she is very strong in her heart. She regards Icy as her idol. In her life, she always welcomes her with a smile, and aims to be by her side, never falling behind. But now, the girl who bloomed like a sunflower in the light was being bound by filthy tentacles, her chest was stained with blood, and her life was hanging by a thread. The culprit is still threatening her companions with her life. Call. A sharp sound erupted in Ice's consciousness. Her eyes widened, and her face was filled with cold hostility. And on the surface of that pure white dress, bits and pieces of black aura gradually overflowed. Black flame of revenge, this is the demonic power hidden in Icy's body. Whenever her eyes are blinded by hatred, this extremely powerful force will help her transform into an avenging angel and kill everyone. At the same time, the angel will be burned by the black flame until it is swallowed up. At this moment, when Ice saw her friend being hurt and threatened, the evil fire in her body began to stir again. Hey, the scenery here is nice. The sudden sound made Icy suddenly shift her gaze. Quote. Returning to the black trench coat he wore when they first met, Eugene followed suit and approached Ice. He ignored the other party's vigilant eyes and the raised sword in his hand, and just continued to explain. Vito, bombs, piranha, duel, trolley problem, just a few sentences summarize the current situation. Following Eugene's words, Icy's physical aura also dropped a lot. So, what do you mean when you tell me this? She didn't quite understand why Eugene was here. Can't we fight at this time? The strong men of the Ganesha family are still unclear about the current situation, so I would like you to tell them that they should first focus on clearing bombs and protecting the masses to minimize possible casualties. Eugene expressed his intention, but was rejected by Icy. I can't leave like this, I must save Lefiya. Eugene was not used to this little girl, so he slapped her in the face loudly. You can't save her with just you. Icy was stunned. She was about to refute, but was interrupted again. At this distance, you can just rely on the wind to fly over and save her, but that kind of movement will definitely be noticed. Right now, the girl only has one breath. Can you guarantee that all those tentacles will be cut off before her neck is broken? Quote. Moreover, after saving her, what are you going to do? Just leave her and go to the hospital. If we don't handle it properly and anger that madman, everyone will die. Ice choked on his words. She showed a struggling expression, but could not get any result. Like the Amazon sisters in the field, Ice can only fight. She always believed that being strong enough could protect everyone, but now it seems that this may not be the case. Don't be so pessimistic. Eugene put his hands on his hips and turned up his nose. Don't you still have me? You. Icy's face was full of questions. What's the use of you, fire-breathing idiot? Burn everyone to death in one burst of fire. The choice is up to you. Eugene spread his hands and said with a smile, would you risk your own life, or just leave it to me, a stranger? Both sides are equally useless, but if you choose me, I can give you verbal comfort. His dark golden pupils gradually lit up, exuding an aura that made people feel inscrutable. Don't worry, that girl will survive. I promise you, my princess. Simple words brought a rare peace of mind. The scene in front of Ice flashed back, as if she saw Eugene's relieved smile when she tried her best to break through the flames. At that time, he seemed to be saying, you are indeed here. Everything was as he expected. Please. The proud princess of swords bowed deeply to the man she met for only the second time and entrusted her friend's life to him. Her pretty face showed pain and apology. It was the guilt caused by not being able to save Lefiya in person. I'm sorry, Lefiya, you regard me as your role model, but I can't save you. Thinking of that bright elf girl, Ice couldn't help but shed tears in the corners of her eyes. Don't cry, you're so sad. Eugene's voice sounded in front of her. The distance was too close, and Ice suddenly came back to her senses. Her body was arched like a cat, and her jade hand was placed on the hilt of the sword. But when she raised her head, Wu Jin was gone. His voice melted into the wind, just like the nature of the prodigal. Everything is like me. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. 96 Captain Dragonfly came to meet him. Hero. The first dreams of adventurers are all to become heroes. The hero of mortals, the hero of his tribe, the hero of his family, the hero of his lover, and even his own hero. If you cry out in despair and ask for help when you are helpless, then someone who controls the divine light will descend from the sky and stand proudly in front of you. Lefiya once believed that Ice was her hero. During the adventure in the dungeon, she was like a guardian angel, coming time and time again when she was in danger, easily crushing the evil ahead. Lefiya longed for and admired such elegant, beautiful and powerful Ice. She wanted to catch up with her, stand by her side, and stay with her until the end. But I have always been rescued and always held back. It was obvious that he finally mustered up the courage to stand on the opposite side of evil. But it failed to be of any use, and instead became a source of pressure for everyone. Not willing to give in, so unwilling to give in. Blood and tears overflowed from the corners of Lefiya's eyes. How she wanted to unfold her magic power and inspire her own light. But, it can't be done. He couldn't gather even a shred of magic power, and he couldn't even make a cry. Don't tell people to give up on themselves. Even the weak cry of, help me, cannot be uttered. The vines wrapped around his neck continued to tighten, and the pain of suffocation was despairing. I'm so sorry, it didn't work at all, and it dragged my friends down. I'm so worthless, I'm so sorry. I'm too weak and don't live up to expectations, I'm really sorry. The elf girl's heart was tortured by pain and self-blame, and her body and mind had reached a limit. What, is it time to make a choice? The culprit of everything, Vito grinned, revealing a despicable smile that was disgusting to the end. 593 inches. If you don't choose, both sides will die. He raised his arms high like he did at first, with his fingers spread apart. The countdown sounds loud and clear so that everyone can hear and see clearly. What does the so-called justice mean? Everyone held their breath. They don't know what to do. The person who stepped forward to save them now became the person who decided their life and death. The change in concept turned gratitude into resentment and fear. 5. Vito's fingers began to tighten. The countdown symbolizing death began, and people's hearts were tugged hard. The completely random explosion made it impossible for them to know whether they would be the next to die. 4. Choose quickly. No, don't choose. People's minds are almost torn apart by ideas. Antione and Tiona were in a fierce ideological battle. They have never encountered such a critical situation. All the brute strength was useless, and the high fighting spirit fell to the bottom. Can't do it. Whether it was abandoning Lefiya or allowing the masses to be massacred, they could not do it. However, if you don't make a choice, the nest will overturn. Crunch. At this time, Tione's teeth clenched. Her pupils were bloodshot and the tip of her tongue was bitten. The situation of her life being placed on the scale reminded her of the time when they were fighting each other in her hometown. Life is not equal. Lan Anye understood this truth when he killed his first compatriot. So, that's it. I neither know you nor need to be recognized by you. Me, just do what I want to do. The inner balance tilted. The Amazon girl's eyes flickered, and she had made an inner decision. For the sake of my friends, please die. Even if I am haunted by an evil spirit, I am not afraid. As long as Lefiya can be saved. 3. Vito's voice became sharper as if he saw the flames in Tion's eyes. How he wanted to see this moment. This girl still thinks too simply. Because of your choice today, Loki's family will become a street rat that everyone shouts about. You think you have a clear conscience, but those mortals will always bear the infamy of refusing to save you. This is despicable human nature. Perhaps it was the telepathy between the twin sisters. Diona's eyes widened and her voice trembled. She thought she was stupid, but she also knew that if her sister did this, the consequences would be serious. However, she couldn't think of a way. The roar of the evil man is right in front of you. He is so despicable and weak, and his return is so far away. Please, show up quickly. Tiona hugged her head, her eyes filled with tears. The hero who will save everyone. Can anyone really respond to the girl's wishes? Forsake me, hate me, save me. The three thoughts were intertwined, but they could only arouse greater panic in the venue. Coming soon. I saw Vito's last raised finger pointing straight to the sky. There is the heaven, where the main god Erebus, whom he once swore to follow to the death, has returned. Just watch it carefully, my lord. I will definitely make this place filled with madness and blood. Quote dash exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Tion and Lefiya closed their eyes, and Tion's anger surged into her throat. First, a strange tune swept the entire audience. The music is very joyful and inappropriate. In this carnival, it is as fantastic as a nursery rhyme on the battlefield. Absolutely don't act out of anger. It's that man. I saw a shining figure rising into the sky, shouting loud slogans in the air. Second, never miss a single bad thing. With bright red stripes, cool wings, and a shining golden mask on his face, he exudes awe-inspiring righteousness. Third, absolutely fair and beautiful referee. Tread. A 720-degree spin in the air, and the person standing firmly on the ground. It's him, it's him. Captain the referee robot Dragonfly, come to meet us. Thump thump thump. There was a sound of jaws dropping to the ground. People looked at this distinguished guest and their brains went crazy. This incompatible style of painting. Who are you? Who are you? Faced with the gorgeous appearance of the funny character, even Vito was stunned. Captain Dragonfly. What kind of hero are you? This kind of attire does not look ordinary. This guy. The elephant god Ganesha, who was watching everything seriously, couldn't help but be shocked. Isn't this image colluding with me? By the way, I am Ganesha. No one moved. The eyes of tens of thousands of people were focused on the intruder. No one understands what his purpose is. A knight, a hero, an accomplice, or a troublemaker. Even Vito felt inexplicably nervous because of this aura. He thought this was due to his opponent's overly advanced strength and his appearance that attracted countless people's attention. In fact, it was an involuntary body twitch due to excessive embarrassment. BB. Tiona said she could not understand the development of the situation on the court at all. She stood slightly forward, so she subconsciously looked back at her sister for answers. Of course, Tion didn't understand anything, so he stared with bright eyes, not daring to relax for a moment. And just then, Tiona's glance back made her expression freeze. I saw a person appearing next to the roots of the piranha that restrained Lefiya at some point. A tall, slender man wearing a black windbreaker, half mask, and dazzling hair. At this time, he was standing behind the elf girl, holding a watermelon knife and cutting the thick vines slowly. What the hell are you? Tiona's head was buzzing. Who are you? And as if he noticed Tiona's gaze, the blonde masked man even stopped what he was doing and cast an electric eye at the Amazon girl. At this moment, the air turned upside down. Tiona, what's wrong with you? Tion noticed her sister's open mouth and the white smoke rising due to her brain failure. She didn't understand what was wrong with her sister. She followed her line of sight and was about to turn back. Eugene thought to himself, this is not possible. Doing this kind of thing cannot be noticed by too many people. Play the music and dance for me. First, absolutely don't act out of anger. The body of Captain Dragonfly, who had fallen into a still state, suddenly twitched, and the loud shout rang out again, startling everyone who was holding their breath. Vito's tense body trembled in shock and he almost fell off the piranha. What the hell? What the hell? Suddenly it stopped and suddenly started moving again. And hasn't this line appeared before? The messenger of evil was easily defeated by funny characters. The mimicry clay doll can imitate an action at will according to Eugene's wishes and act as a shield at critical moments. A magic prop that has something, but not much. But if used properly, the results are amazing. Click. Eugene's watermelon knife slashed left and right, sweating freely under the intimidation of Captain Dragonfly. If I saw those carefree movements, she would be so angry that she would have a cerebral hemorrhage. Is this the method you said? You say I'm not fast enough, so you're just dragging your feet. Snap. At this moment, all the vines finally broke. It takes a while, but it works. It's really, really successful. Tiona's little sanity left exploded on the spot. She couldn't believe that this man could easily solve a situation that seemed unsolvable to her in such a funny way. Lefiya's chest was full of blood, and the terrible strangling marks on her throat were shocking. And Eugene didn't waste any time. He took out a bottle of advanced recovery medicine and poured it into his mouth. It's coming. It's a scene that everyone loves to see. I saw him leaning down with tenderness in his eyes under the gaze of very few people, including Tiona. In this smoke-filled scene, the man's lips met the girl's. A domineering invasion was staged. 97 Tauren, great victory. The hero saves the beauty. After the rescue, it is nothing more than a promise with your body and a return in the next life. For this operation of Eugene, he collected some interest first to avoid having to pay it back in the next life. He took the high-grade recovery medicine in his mouth, narrowed his eyes slightly, and kissed the soft lips of the elf girl in his arms. In order to make her swallow it, it's still French. Ah! When Tiona saw this scene, her little head was almost dizzy with heat. What? Save people, just save people, what are you doing? As extremely rare virgin sisters among the Amazons, neither she nor Tiona had been touched by a man. Especially Tiona, her sister at least has someone she likes, Finn, but she doesn't even have one. Therefore, for Eugene's bold behavior, I feel blushing and overwhelmed. Eugene's invasion was overbearing and passionate. He felt like he was kissing the petals of a flower, or tasting delicious food. The girl's fragrance makes people feel relaxed and happy. This is medical behavior. Taking this as an excuse, Eugene went deeper again, like a bee in a honey source unable to extricate itself. With his efforts, the semi-conscious Lefiya frowned lightly, her throat rolled with difficulty, and finally swallowed. She felt an extremely comfortable warmth melting inside her body, and her whole body was immersed in the warm water. And he seemed to be in a strong embrace, which made people feel extremely at ease. She tried her best to open her eyes, and what came into view was gold. Gold. It's her, it must be her. With the ups and downs of her mood and recovery from her injuries, Lefiya's body gradually regained consciousness. She was filled with joy, it was Miss I who came to save me. But when she regained consciousness, she felt something was wrong. This, in the mouth, how? Telephone. Is there something? So hot, so sweet. But, why keep moving? Lefiya's body involuntarily felt like it was losing strength. She raised her arms and trembled slightly. When the healing effect of the recovery medicine spread throughout her body, she was able to regain her sanity. Well, with a moan, the two people, who were almost touching each other, looked at each other. Eugene stopped his mouth in time. But the atmosphere between the two became stagnant for a time. Lefiya's breathing was rapid, and her sizable soft body became stiff in Eugene's warm and strong embrace. She didn't understand what happened, or why it wasn't Ice who was here. I don't even understand. Why did this man kiss me? That heat flow lasted for such a long time, so it has always been like this. This is my first kiss. Lefiya's expression was aggrieved, and her eyes were filled with tears. She wanted to glare at this rude guy with a fierce look. But her wildly beating heart and chaotic thoughts were unable to support her in completing such a simple action. Great, I saved you. Eugene's tone was relieved and gentle, the corners of his lips curled up, and he exuded a harbor-like sense of security. At this moment, Lefiya's last bit of anger dissipated. Unlike other elves, Lefiya has a high tolerance for skin contact, almost the same as ordinary people. As a flower girl, she has longed for love. The man in front of her was tall, warm and reliable, and that kiss made her feel excited. He was trying to save me. With this reason, the girl felt a lot relieved. But just when the two were tired of being together and the atmosphere was charming, Diona's reason had shattered like glass. She was there, watching the whole process. The appearance of this stranger, his purpose, and his behavior were all completely visible. And the last kiss was even more incomprehensible to the girl. Just save people, why are you talking? Is this how the so-called story of a hero and a princess plays out? So envious. Call. While this chaos continues, Icy has completed the conveyance to Shakti and the others as quickly as possible. Following Eugene's suggestion, the strong men of the Ganesha family led many of their subordinates and began to search for the shadow of the bomb between the support pillars. To cause maximum casualties, destroying the pillars is best. This is what Eugene deduced from the details of the first explosion. Icy didn't stop, transformed into a wind spirit, and jumped onto the highest pillar again. She was glowing all over, standing at the top, looking down. When she saw the confused crowd, Vito, and Captain Dragonfly who was constantly making funny performances, even Icy was inexplicably stunned for a while. She couldn't clearly see the depth of this strangely shaped big brother. I don't even understand why it's not Eugene who appears there. But because she cared about her friends, she quickly recovered and averted her gaze. Sure enough, at the end of the field, the chopped roots were discovered, as well as Tiona's sluggish movements. Lefiya is missing. Has she been rescued? Icy searched anxiously, and a second later, her golden eyes suddenly shrank. A blush appeared on her pretty fair face. Those two people, kissing. Ouch. The person involved, Lefiya, couldn't understand the current situation at all. Didn't you already kiss me once? Please give me flowers. Why come again? Her little hands weakly pushed Eugene, but she couldn't push him away at all. Their lips met, and the girl's soul seemed to have been taken away. Click. As Tiona watched, countless thunderbolts exploded in her mind. Lefiya herself doesn't know why, let alone her. At this moment, she was so embarrassed that her toes were on the ground, and she wanted to dig a hole on the spot and bury her head in it to calm down. How can it be like this? Let people watch it twice in a row. And Eugene, after completing another domineering invasion, raised his head with satisfaction. In his arms, Lefiya was breathing rapidly and her face was as red as an apple. The fragrance of the girl and the atmosphere of love spread together. Why? She asked with a delicate cry. Eugene was fascinated by this little face. He smiled and said, "The first time was an emergency. Oh, the second time, I couldn't help myself. Because Miss Verides is so cute, I'm completely obsessed with her and can't help myself. B asterisk 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 D. Big B asterisk 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 D. Lefiya was so angry at this rogue answer that she had a headache. She let go of her hands and feet and struggled in Eugene's arms. The commotion here finally caught Vito's attention. Under the attention of countless people headed by him, everyone's eyes turned around one after another. It fell on the man who hugged the girl tightly, and the elf girl who seemed to be acting coquettishly with her lover. Suddenly, the Lord erupted into a loud voice of doubt. All kinds of discussions resounded one after another, filling the venue. Who is that person? Tione finally noticed what happened behind him. She wanted to ask her sister a question, but then she realized that the little girl's eyes were blank and she was shaky. When I noticed that everyone was looking over, my face was hot with embarrassment. She subconsciously shrank into Eugene's arms, holding tightly to the only support around her. But at this moment, a startling glance, Lefiya's eyes widened. At the end of her sight, Ice was looking at the two people hugging each other closely with an expression of disbelief. It seems that all of this is unacceptable. Done. Lefiya's consciousness cracked open. This time Barbie is Q. Everything between me and this man will definitely be seen. Kissing a stranger twice in succession in front of the person you like, and sticking together like this. This misunderstanding cannot be cleared up no matter what. And just when Lefiya felt like crying, the corner of Eugene's mouth drew the word, Nike. This wave. It's another great victory for the Torrent. 98. Do you know what a man with a lower head is? Ruined. He is clearly determined to stand by her side until the end. But in the blink of an eye, he was openly kissing someone else. The most important thing is that Icy saw them all. Now I really can't clean myself wherever I jump. Woo. Lefiya felt so wrong that she wanted to cry. But at this time, Eugene offered comfort. The rice is raw, no, everyone is watching, no, anyway, don't cry. He faced the elf girl's tearful eyes and smiled, I will protect you. Hey, who are you? Tion yelled. It can be seen that this man saved Lefiya, but with the way he is dressed, he does not look like a good person. Just a passerby. Eugene stood up with Lefiya on his side, causing her to let out a sweet cry. I saw the fight between several ladies. They were very impressive. However, let me deal with these things. As he spoke, he stepped forward, and when he passed by Tiona, who had a complicated expression, he struck another electric eye, shocking the little girl until her face turned red. Who are you? Vito, who didn't realize that he had been tricked until now, had a gloomy expression. Behind him, Captain Dragonfly was still shouting meaninglessly, making Vito feel even more ashamed. Babaki was actually fooled by such a simple trick. Being an evil apostle is so embarrassing. It's all because of this guy. Vito's anger skyrocketed, and his eyes were full of hatred, shining on Eugene, wanting to eat him alive. The tramp problem that I had created with great difficulty was solved by this uninvited guest. He controlled the piranha and with a flick of his hand, he smashed Captain Dragonfly into powder. You broke the rules and I want to punish you. Vito raised his hand and was about to detonate the bomb. However, in the face of such a threat, Eugene remained calm. He even wanted to use his hands to pick his nose. Blow it up, it's my business. I'm not an adventurer, and these people don't know me. Blow them all to death, but it won't kill me. When you blow up everyone to death, no one will know the truth. Wouldn't it be more beneficial to me then? Eugene's few words silenced Vito. Not only that, even the person in his arms was shocked. This bee, in the face of threats, is completely indifferent to the attitude of a bystander. He doesn't care about the life or death of others. Ah yes. Eugene looked shocked and quickly took a step back and came to Tion and Tiona. Be careful when you explode, don't hurt these ladies. Rough men are the worst. I'm going to FK Grandma Mud. The veins on Vito's forehead are exposed. I'm a terrorist. Why did I meet such a B************** D like you? His expression was ferocious and his fists were clenched. After 2 seconds of silence, his lips widened. Isn't it just a way to stimulate generals? Do you really think I can't hear it? It doesn't matter, you don't care, there are tens of thousands of people who care. I am very satisfied just hearing their cries. Eugene curled his lips, it seemed that his words had been broken. Then there's no way. He suddenly raised his head and shouted, Sister. Watch out. This soul-stirring cry spread to every corner of the venue, including Icy at the top. She quickly recovered from the shock of the accident just now, her eyes condensed, and the wind whirlpool on her body was compressed to the limit, increasing her speed to the highest level. Let's play jackpot. Eugene's eyes were filled with smiles. He put Lefiya down and moved his fingers. Let's guess together, where will you blow up? The aura transformed from that strong confidence is like substance, approaching the opponent. Life and death crisis, strong luck triggers. At this time, Eugene controls the reins of destiny. Vito looked at that face, and his anger grew further. He really doesn't believe in evil anymore. Raise your arms high and swing them down suddenly. Eugene and Vito, both of them took action at the same time. Following a crisp sound, a strange wave quickly spread in the air and spread towards a corner of the venue. That is the fluctuation of magic power. As a mage, I am very sensitive to this. But she could only roughly sense it, but she couldn't stop it. But when she saw the direction in which Eugene stretched out his arm, her eyes immediately widened. Because the direction this person pointed was completely consistent with her perception, and even more intuitive. Boom! The bomb exploded. The broken pillars rolled down, and large pieces of heavy stone were about to collapse on the audience. Is the tragedy about to happen again? Call. A fierce wind rushed from the side, and the light green light left a wind barrier wherever it passed. It's Ace. The moment Eugene waved his arm, she seemed to be inspired and ran at full speed in the direction he pointed. Wind shield. Gathering the wind and spinning it into a shield, I successfully resisted the falling pillar. Although many people were still injured, it was already the best save. That's Sword Princess. Vito's expression changed and his eyes became solemn. Although he was bluffed by Eugene, the main force was obviously ice. Just good luck. This time, it won't be so easy. He raised his hands angrily, but froze in midair. Because Eugene has already made a move. His hands pointed in one direction, which was perfectly consistent with what Vito was thinking. Impossible. How did this guy know? Vito's mind was so shaken that he didn't even start to detonate. No waves of magic were generated. In other words, Eugene is completely guessing blindly this time. No, this is a coincidence. Next time, it's this way, this way, this way. And, over there. Eugene raised Lefiya's little hand and added his own, which was exactly 4 directions. Vito's expression changed drastically. Is this okay? Did you really guess it right? Lefiya was so surprised that she stretched her hands straight and did not dare to move. At this moment, Vito felt that his teeth were shaking. Could this be the legendary telepathy? His expression changed, and Eugene controlled Lefiya to switch her arms. He took one step across and came to Tiona, whose eyes were widened. Can you help me? He approached the girl and put his arm on her shoulder. Tiona looked startled, then nodded shyly. With Eugene's help, she also pointed in 2 directions. It seems the limit is 4. With his hands free, Eugene rubbed his chin and looked at Vito. It's a finger, right? Breaking off 1 stick every time you detonate it, up to 4 at a time. You are also ruthless. It looks like the whole body has been transformed. Arms, legs, teeth, heart, I'm afraid they can all explode, right? The arrangements are very good. Every word of Eugene speaks directly to the truth. Vito looked at this unidentified uninvited guest and felt as if he was being played by him. You. His breathing was rapid, and cold sweat dripped from his forehead. Obviously he still took the initiative, but in front of this person, he felt that everything about him was exposed. Don't mess with those useless things. Eugene put his hands on his hips and directly invited him to fight. These piranha flowers were given to you by white-haired ghost, Olivas, right? There are so many of them, are they ugly enough? Take it all out and let's settle it together. He actually knows this. Vito was completely confused, and his eyes turned into deep fear when he looked at Eugene. Olivas actor, the white-haired ghost, had been presumed dead by everyone a few years ago. In fact, he is still active, and these piranha flowers are all under his control. No one on Earth, including the gods, knows these secrets. But Eugene, he said it so lightly as if he was complaining about the food. Quote. Don't let me get carried away. The scars from the surgery were torn open on his face, and the bad Yanyi couldn't bear to look at them. Amidst that hoarse and sharp roar, the broken earth shook violently again. This time, it's not just the center of the venue, but coming from all directions. Boom boom boom. The earth rises. Countless green shadows rose into the sky at Vito's call, and no less than 30 piranha flowers instantly occupied the entire duel venue. Hooah! Help! People's souls were so frightened by this terrifying and dense monster that they stood up and left, fighting with each other. At this time, in front of them, the Ganesha family headed by Shakti appeared in time and formed a firm barrier to stop the flow of people. There are so many. Shakti 3.9 looked at these monsters he had never seen before, cold sweat dripping down his face. Those neighing sounds with open mouths are like the voice of the god of death. It's horrifying. Well, it's pretty cool this time. Eugene looked at the scene around him that looked like a giant tree in a deep forest, and nodded. He has great confidence in the group of people on the periphery, and the Ganesha family will be responsible to the end no matter what. Coupled with Icy's assistance, there will be casualties, but definitely not serious. Ironically, Eugene estimated that the stampede was the most serious in this turmoil. Hey, who is that? Tiona yelled at Eugene with a panic. Why do you have to provoke him? The ground underfoot became very soft due to the emergence of piranha flowers. They can't even stand still now. Lefiya felt this even more deeply. She was the closest to Eugene, and she naturally reached out to catch him as soon as her foot softened. Although shy, this is a crisis situation. The elf girl felt the man's stability and deceived herself. Okay, that's probably the scale. Eugene smiled and opened his hand, extending a sincere invitation to Tiona and Tion. Then, without further ado, please, ladies, please fall into my arms as soon as possible. 99 hug me. Otherwise I'll kill you. Without further ado, please quickly fall into my arms. After Eugene finished speaking, he puffed up his chest proudly. However, no one moved. The 3 beauties looked at him like sand dollars. Brother, do you want to listen to what you said? Lefiya glared at this guy angrily. Even though she had already done this and that to me, she still hooked up with other girls. Oh no. You are obviously a stranger, why do you have the nerve to say that? Sure enough, no one moved. Ah, Eugene sighed softly. Unlike the other girls, these three have no tacit understanding with him. It's a pity that our joys and sorrows are not the same. We don't even know who you are. Tion complained loudly. She has decided to dedicate her body and mind to the leader, so how can she just hang out with other men? Haha. Eugene wanted to laugh when he saw this girl. You have a carnivorous Amazon and a mini-human. Poof. Out of reach. Tion was very dissatisfied with Eugene's slightly teasing eyes. She took a step forward and grabbed his collar. Say quickly. Who are you? What do you want to do this? Hey, don't get excited. Eugene didn't resist and said with a smile, everything is under my control. 13 inches. Question mark question mark question mark. The three girls were once again overwhelmed by this inexplicable confidence. Tion couldn't help but let go of Eugene and put his hand on his forehead. Is this person completely incapable of reading the atmosphere? Do you think it will be difficult to deal with so many piranha flowers without weapons? Don't worry, they are actually weak in some aspects. As soon as they heard that there was a way to break the situation, everyone looked at him expectantly. These things are plants after all, not fire-resistant, and especially have extremely low resistance to magic flames. He said, looking at Lefiya aside. For example, Miss Virides's fire javelin magic can clear the field in just one round. Then what are you waiting for? Let's start quickly. After finally hearing Eugene say something reliable, Tiona exclaimed excitedly, and Tion also slightly changed her view of this person. As for Lefiya, when she heard that she was the key to breaking the situation, her drooping expression suddenly became tense. I can still come in handy. Well, but you are of little use now. Eugene's straight serve made Lefiya, who had just prepared herself mentally, feel dizzy. These piranha flowers are sensitive to magic power, and they will attack targets with high magic power first. Once you start singing, you're just a target. Didn't I agree that I am the core? Lefiya, you at hash %. Tion couldn't help but cursed. And Tiona also shouted frantically. Please tell me everything once and for all. We are among a group of monsters. Whatever plan you have, just implement it as soon as possible. As I said, I have everything under control. Eugene sighed again. These three girls were so startled that they were really difficult to deal with. Until now, they have been led by his words and have not thought about it at all. Gee, it's really a good example of using high combat power at the expense of low power. In order to show his level, he exerted all his strength and shouted to the giant flower in front of him to invite him to fight. Hello, we are here. If you want to fight, come quickly. Alas alas alas. This mysterious operation of actively provoking a fight made the three of them make petrifying sounds at the same time. It was easy for them to take advantage of the chaos to discuss tactics, but now you took the initiative to expose them. The three of them reached out their hands almost at the same time, trying to stop Eugene from committing suicide. But as the large piranha flower in front retreated, revealing a gap, it was already too late. Found you. Summoning all the piranhas at once, Vito's confidence increased significantly. He was sure that with these big treasures, even the Amazon sisters would definitely be eaten alive. These giant flowers, carefully cultivated, can establish a tacit connection with their operators. Relying on the props given by the white-haired ghost, Olivas, he can control these monsters like arms. Just like at the beginning, he used the roots to sneak attack life underground. As we all know, manual operation is definitely better than mechanical operation. So this time, I am invincible. You are very confident, but these things are quite difficult to deal with if you hit them one by one with your hands. Eugene admired the skin structure of the piranha up close. It was hard to believe that these monsters that could be mass-produced could actually reach such a level of defense. If used in small-scale wars, it would be a powerful siege weapon. However, as far as its origin is concerned, it is better not to get involved as much as possible. This is all at your invitation. Vito condescendingly laughed wildly at Eugene. Originally, I wanted to appreciate those girls struggling more. But you came to disrupt the situation. Since you have the guts to stand up and play the hero game, be prepared to be torn apart. Facing this murderous intention, Eugene spread his hands unhurriedly. How can I disturb the situation? You said it, if you lose, it will explode until both players finish the game. I am not responding to your call and coming out to compete in the ring. Stop being clever. Vito would not believe a word of Eugene's words. He actually missed out on a wonderful show by using a cheap trick like a puppet. Now he just wants to cut Eugene into pieces. It seems you don't want to follow the rules. Eugene pouted, slightly dissatisfied. He chose the critical moment to take action just to harvest people's emotions. I can save people who adventurers cannot save. If adventurers can't break the situation, I will break it. One person challenges everyone on the opposite side, first rescue some people, and then settle everything with Vito depending on the situation. That's what he planned, but unfortunately, you can't expect crazy people to follow your ideas. Okay, since you don't want to play, then don't play at all. Eugene's eyes returned to coldness. The value of this game was halved, which made him very unhappy. A magical aura floated on his body surface, the hem of his windbreaker floated upward, and the air around him gradually fluctuated. Hey, what are you doing? Didn't they say they would be attracted by magic? 587. Aren't you a complete target now? The three women behind him were all frightened by Eugene's behavior. They couldn't understand the behavior of the man in front of them at all, and even felt that he was a madman. First, he pointed out the characteristics of the piranha, and then rejected Lefiya's role. 1 second he said everything was under control, and the next second he was determined to be tough. Now, in this dangerous group of piranha flowers, huge magic power is mobilized. How is this different from lighting a bonfire in the dark and attracting all the surrounding beasts? The body surface was covered with pure magic power. Eugene glanced back, and the gentleness in his eyes disappeared. Facing that kind of gaze, the girls couldn't help but sweat dripping from their faces. No, it's not just that. The surroundings suddenly became hot. The magic power of the fire system is forming an invisible vortex with this man as the center. Unbelievable, those are just the sporadic things he spilled. Don't you want to know who I am? When Eugene turned around, the area below his throat began to glow with a blazing light. The Princess of Swords, I should have mentioned it. Fire breather, that's what everyone calls me. The three women's eyes widened at the same time. Oh, it's you. The mysterious man who forced the IV-5 sword princess into a desperate situation with just one breath of fire. I won't say anything unnecessary. Come on. His tone was calm, as if he was describing the facts. Otherwise, he will definitely die. 100 no more, I can't forget him. Rather than being a hero who sacrifices his life and then lies sadly in his grave. It is better to be a villain who fishes for fame, opportunistically, but has a great reputation. In people's eyes, a hero who cannot solve the crisis cannot be regarded as a hero, but can only be a hero. Only the person who finally picks the fruit will be remembered, spread and praised. If you take action at the right time, you can harvest people's favor. Eugene's original plan was to be the fruit picker. He allowed the situation to develop, saw Lefiya in danger, drove Ice away, and dispersed the Ganesha family. Just to show off. Yes, in this era, the way to gain fame is to show off. Originally, according to Eugene's idea, he would fight the opponent alone as a substitute and win easily. The disparate victory brought him huge popularity. Just like this, he won several games in a row. No matter whether he could save the masses or not, his reputation would be directed towards him. As for how it will end, he has his own plans. The worst thing is not to be completely wiped out. But who knows, Vito only has this little heart and doesn't tolerate teasing. Didn't he just send Captain Dragonfly? Why is he so bitter and so bitter? Alas, since we don't have to perform, let's just calculate it as a draw. If his opponent doesn't cooperate, then he can't waste time. The body turned into a furnace, and the raging flames condensed rapidly. Just the fluctuation of magic power emanating from the body makes the surrounding air faintly boil. Come on, he gave a final warning to the girls. Otherwise, he will definitely die. Needless to say, Lefiya, even 2 IV-5s may not be able to resist his move. Among many magics, the fire spell causes the highest damage to creatures. Moreover, Eugene's breath is no longer as simple as burning violently. He raised his chin, and red light rolled around his neck, like a red-hot iron. The violent magic power that can burn oneself is like magma about to erupt in the crater of a volcano. Are you the fire breather? Lefiya's face turned pale. The powerful enemy who attacked Ice was actually him. She was still holding onto his arm. Not only that, she even kissed him passionately before, in front of Ice. Wow. Lefiya was so embarrassed that she almost cried. She had completely surrendered to the enemy this time. She couldn't imagine what Ace would think when she saw her again. The elf girl cried and wanted to leave Eugene, but was held in his arms. Don't go. Eugene's voice was serious, and he couldn't say much at this time. But this command, like a domineering president, made Lefiya's heart tremble. After all, our culture is thousands of years ahead of us. In a different world, let alone the literature of the hegemon, even simple love stories can be killed. Eugene stretched out his hand towards the vigilant Amazon sisters again, gesturing for them to come closer. But after he shook his head and refused, he said nothing more. He will not spoil these two girls. To deal with Amazon, you have to rely on your wrist. By the way, the reason why Tion fell in love with Finn was because he was the first good-looking man to defeat him. The bearded dwarf Gareth also knocked Tiona over, but she didn't react at all. In short, if you don't show off your muscles, it's impossible for them to remember you. Well, just take a look. Eugene held Lefiya slightly harder, showing a protective posture. In fact, he was afraid that she would be scared and run away. He stretched out his fingers and put them in front of his mouth. Immediately, the throat lit up with a dazzling fire. Call. A fireball the size of a fist, moving like a living thing, was steadily suspended at the fingertips. That doesn't seem surprising. However, Lefiya's eyes when she looked at it were full of happiness and fear. How did you do it? Her mind was shocked. How could such a small flame contain such a huge amount of magic power? It's as unreal as stuffing a lake into a water bottle. Terrifying fluctuations tore waves around the flames, and the aura of destruction was hidden deep under the warm light. The fire breather's fire will lose its ulna when replaced with 4. Now it seems that this evaluation is still low. Lefiya felt that even if she was her own volley fire javelin, with extraordinary power, she might not be able to compare with it. In terms of the amount of magic power injected, she would have to rely on replicating Riveria's most powerful fire magic, advanced, Sword of Victory, to be able to compete. More importantly, Eugene did not sing. Being able to cast such dangerous magic without chanting, it's no wonder he was able to push ice into a desperate situation. The super long front and back swing of the wizards is a shortcoming that they cannot avoid. Magic that does not require chanting will greatly improve its overall evaluation. The difference between accumulating energy on the spot for 3 minutes and just opening your mouth is self-evident. No wonder he said I was useless. Lefiya looked at the fire and lost her mind. She felt defeated in all aspects. This fire is the gap between her and him that can never be bridged. Don't look like that. After Eugene breathed out the flames, the scar on his throat healed quickly. He regained his smiling face and moved his fingers closer to the girl beside him. Do you like watching fireworks? Lefiya didn't understand what he meant, but nodded anyway. Blow it. I'll give you a firework. Eugene's tone was relaxed. Even if you are in a tight siege, as long as there is this fire, you don't have to worry about anything. In other words, it's all over. Lefiya's eyes reflected the bright light, and her throat rolled. She opened her lips slightly and blew lightly. Call. The flame is gone. On Eugene's fingertips, there was only a faint trace of smoke. Oh, something unexpected happened. Tiona, who was staring at Eugene intently, made a long confused sound. She has no talent for magic and her perception of magic is very low. When I saw the fireball dissipating, I thought something unexpected had happened. At the same time, Tion and Lefiya looked at the sky. At this time, the sky is orange-red. Countless expanding sparks formed a huge red curtain, wrapping all the piranha flowers. This is. In front of Vito's eyes, all the scenes disappeared instantly, leaving only the sky made of flames. That's magic. The Ganesha family headed by Shakti had never seen such a spectacular and magnificent scene. To their surprise, even the rioting crowd was deeply attracted by the fire and stopped. The gods present were Ganesha and Ishtar. The strong men who won the king stood still, Aisha and Frini. No matter strong or weak, high or low. The tens of thousands of eyes present were all locked in their minds by this fire that was burning red in the sky. He has become stronger. Icy, who was riding the wind whirlpool and suspended in midair, had complicated eyes. After not seeing each other for a few days, I was not the only one who became stronger. This man can give her the opportunity to break through her limits. Of course, she is also repeating this process. Who is he? How many more secrets does he know? How much stronger can he make me? Countless thoughts intertwined in the girl's heart, making her unable to forget Eugene's presence in her life. Looking up to admire his work, Eugene's lips curled up. The fire will eventually pierce the darkness. With one's own efforts, one can turn things around. This is what hero means, isn't it? He reached out his hand and waved it as if stirring water. The next second, in the arena, a raging wave of flames was set off that destroyed everything. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.